going on, everyone? It's episode 108, recorded on Sunday, September 11th, 2022. I'm John, and hey, Drew.
Yep.
A married man was having an affair with his secretary. One day, their passions overcame them in the office, and they took off for her house to have hours of sex. Exhausted, they fell asleep until 8 p.m. As the man threw on his clothes, he asked the secretary to take his shoes outside and rub them through the grass and dirt. Confused, she nonetheless complied, and he slipped into his shoes and drove home. "Where have you been?" demanded his wife when he entered the house. "Darling," replied the man, "I can't lie to you. I've been having an affair with my secretary. I fell asleep in her bed and didn't wake up until 8 o'clock. The wife glanced down at his shoes and said, "You liar, you've been playing golf."
After a long day at work, it's time to relax and tuck in with the Dads After Dark show with your hosts, Drew and John.
What is up, everybody? On tonight's show, we have some Disney updates, more PlayStation talk, boring, and what have we been playing as usual. And lastly, we have what everyone has been waiting for, a trip report from the shenanigans that went down yesterday in northern eastern Connecticut. John, what is going on, buddy?
Oh, you were in Connecticut. I didn't even know you were in Connecticut. I thought it was Rhode Island. Drew, I'm so excited you're here. You were.
Yes.
You were giving me, if you were my employee, I would have given you a poor annual review. You were trying to get out of the show tonight. It was tired. You had so much fun yesterday. Well, I had to sit and watch you guys have so much fun. And then you were like, I'm too tired to do the show. No. And now you're here and I'm excited.
You didn't let me. The first thing I said is, the exact text was, "Oh man, what a fucking exhausting weekend. I think I need a rain check for tonight." And you said pretty much that's not an option. And then I said, well, how about a sub? And you didn't like that answer either.
You know what? We can't sub for you, man. You're the show. I can't bring somebody on.
So then it disappeared for a few hours. We didn't chat. It was like one of those awkward moments. Like, I'm mad, you're mad. I took a nap. I woke up, felt better, and now I'm here. That's it. We're here. We're doing this.
Yes. Tell me about. So yesterday you got to hang out with Hambone Johnny and Kevin. I saw some pictures, but I want details. Yes. What happened?
Yeah, so Bob Cousy, Kevin himself, flew all the way out here from Denver, Colorado, John, to hang out with me and then the Hambone. This was planned for, 6 months. Unfortunately, there were some COVID problems. We couldn't do it in the summer, so we had to reschedule for this, and it was great. So the day started. It was a long day. I had my first opening day soccer game for my kid as a coach, 8:30 a.m. So I had to get there nice and early, make sure we were good. After the game, I get home at like 9:45, jumped in the shower. I was so excited I packed everything the night before. My whole car was packed, ready to go. I picked up Kevin at his hotel at 10:30 in the morning. Nice big hug. He was looking fantastic with his nice flowered like Hawaiian shirt. Very nice.
Golf
and
ready.
He had a shirt that said, oh God, I'm going to butcher this. I'm sorry, Kev. What did it say? It said hookers and cocaine. That's what it said.
That's how you knew that was Kevin.
That was him. I said Hawaiian shirt, hookers and cocaine. I said, if I like never met him, I was like, that has to be the guy. You know, it was like one of those situations. Good news is we weren't catfished. There was no catfished. Nothing happened. And so I picked him at 10:30. We went over to the golf course, which was right nearby. If you ever heard of it, Connecticut, there's a huge casino called Foxwoods. I think it's one of the biggest casinos in the country, John.
I've heard
it's
of
massive.
Yeah.
So they have a beautiful, beautiful golf course called Lake of Isles. We went there a little before 11, went over, we practiced a little bit, John. We went to the range. We went back. We had some nice lunch. And then Hambone shows up and we were ready to go. So funny story is, if you're not a golfer out there, there's times when you play at a busy golf course, especially in the summertime when it's busy on a weekend, where it typically happens if it's just like two people, right? So, John, if you and I went golfing and we had a tee time for 12 o'clock, they would sometimes pair you up with another like two people, right? Just because they want to keep the course flow moving. And so it's better to have four people than two. It just keeps the pace kind of equal. Right. So typically with three people, it doesn't really happen that much because who's going golfing by themselves, right? It just, especially at an expensive, nice golf course. Well, John, let me tell you, we got paired up with somebody.
Wow.
And it was so.
Was she hot?
Oh, that's no. I mean, I could probably talk for the next 2 hours and destroy this whole podcast about the gentleman we played with. But I'm going to try to sum this gentleman up in 30 seconds. And I want you to, in your head, envision him. And whatever you envision, it's probably worse. So his name is Retz, R-E-X, Retz.
Okay. Now I get the reference. All right. Rex. Okay.
He's Etz Marine Corps. The Marine Corps poisoned him, so he now has cancer. He has only one kidney. He used to own a trucking company, and then they used to give him free hookers, so he really loved Kevin's hat. He's fought so many people in his life he can't count. Huge President Trump supporter. So much that I made Kevin bring up Joe Biden and how Joe Biden is so good for this country. I thought we were going to get in a fist fight. What else
just
is
trying to get him to leave the course is essentially.
Oh my God. The first time that the cart girl pulls up and we're ordering shots and beers and non-alcoholic beers and seltzes, and so Kev gets out his wallet to pay for all of me, John, and himself, right? And Rex went first, and then the girl's like, all right, it's going to be $57, and he's like, well, I only ordered 2 drinks. She's like, oh, no, I thought I put it all on the same tab. He's like, oh, I guess I'm paying for this fuckers. So it's
golf sounds great.
And then this guy was like, oh, put me down for a 5. And I'm like, pretty sure you got a 7. Like, he was just cheating. But here's the best part. So when you play golf, there's really only 2 golf carts per foursome. Well, me and Kev got there super early, so our bags were already on the cart. So God bless his heart. Hambone Johnny had to sit with this guy in a golf cart for 4.5 hours, John. He comes up with the first hole and he just goes, man, this guy smells like my dad. And I didn't really know what that meant. I kind of went with it, but it was just a roller coaster of events. But I'll tell you what, it made it that much better. It was fantastic. We were going to invite him out after, but then we were afraid that he probably would have said yes. So we told him we were going to Mohegan Sun, even though we were going to the Foxwoods Casino,
right?
Just in case he tried to find us.
Yeah, meet us over there.
Yeah. So we had a fantastic time. We played golf. It was great. We all had some good shots. We all had some really bad shots. But overall, we just had a fantastic golf day with or without Retz. I can't say he made it better or worse. After that, we took a nice shower at the country club. We all got naked together and did the thing. So that was fun.
Wow, and then, this is the first point where I'm actually happy I wasn't there.
No, John, you missed out. There's nothing like walking out of the shower with just a towel around your neck.
We've gone through this. Yes, we've heard your stories.
So anyways, I brought these guys 2 fantastic Dads After Dark shirts. Now, I didn't expect this to blossom into a full-on like campaign of supporting the podcast all night. But that's what it did, John, because those guys like, well, fuck it, we're wearing them. I was wearing mine because I had it, and like, well, we're gonna wear ours too. So we all wore the same shirt. We headed over to the casino, and we decided we were gonna have dinner, and then we fucked up because the casino has so much to do. At first, we wanted to do an escape room. We couldn't get it booked; it was sold out. We tried to do virtual Top Golf; it was sold out. We tried to do. They have like intense go karts with a helmet, but it was like $30 for a 5-minute race. We're like, that's kind of stupid. They had a smash room. Like we tried all these things, and we couldn't get in. So we said, fuck it, let's just go have dinner. We'll figure it out. So we went to dinner. Where did we go, John? We went to Guy Fieri's restaurant. Why wouldn't you, right? We had a nice, delicious dinner. Thank you to Hambone. He covered the bill.
Wow.
Thanks, buddy.
Wow.
You know what it was? It turned into a night, though. Like, one person covered that bill. I covered a bill. Like, it was just, we kept kind of just, it probably ended up evening out at the end of the day. So we did that. After that, they have what they call a luxury bowling lane, bowling alley at the casino. So we said, let's go bowling. Because did you know that Hambone Johnny was a college athlete bowler?
He was curving the ball.
He's no joke, right? He knows his shit. Now, he didn't have his equipment, right? So he had to do
the
house balls.
My God.
But, so we went bowling, and, well, you know, me and Kevin held our own. I think did I send you guys the pictures?
It was fairly close.
It was fairly close.
I was not impressed by Hambone Johnny's score. I was impressed by his curvy roll.
I was impressed. Like I said, he had some impressive shots, but I agree. He blamed the equipment.
Totally.
But there was some times me and Kev beat him, you know, and it's like,
he looks like a guy that would blame the equipment. Let's be honest.
I know, but you could tell he had good form. We respected the form.
Yeah.
So we did that, you know, a couple more cocktails. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I drank quite a bit, right? I was never to the point like drunk or trying to drive like that, but just
now Kevin wasn't drinking.
Kevin does not. Kevin did not drink. Nope.
And you drank right in front of him.
Let me be clear about this. I want to understand that because that sounds like an asshole friend, right? I didn't even bring it up because
I didn't say friend.
Honest, Kevin, I know you're probably listening. So Hambone and I, we had a few conversations prior to yesterday, like, you know, hey, listen, like, I don't want to drink if it makes Kevin feel uncomfortable, right? You know, we talked about it, like, so we'll just wing it and see what happens. But as soon as I got there, Kev goes, no, like, I didn't even bring it up. I want you guys, I want to buy you a round. You know, you guys do you. Don't worry about me. I'm good. And he had a couple of non-alcoholic beers and stuff, and it was we had a blast.
Plus,
but it was also
you put Hambone on a golf cart with Rex for 4.5 hours, so dude's going to drink.
Yeah, we 100%. I was giving him shots. He was trying to steal my shots because he understand cheers, and it was. Oh, I forgot to mention Rex was a big animal lover. When he found out that I drive over snakes with my lawnmower, I thought my life was in danger. He's like, you don't fucking kill animals. You love them. And then there was some deer and he wanted to fuck them. It got weird. But, so all right. So bowling, back to that. So we had bowling. We were there for a couple hours, just relaxing. We got approached on what the fuck is Dad's After Dark. Actually, someone came over to us and said, exact words, John. Oh, Dad's After Dark. That's cool. Is that a podcast? Like, I was like, matter of fact, it is.
Whoa, wait a minute. Rex is listening right now?
Well, no. We fucked up. We were going to have Rex leave a voicemail. And we forgot. We're like, oh my God, like, let's call the number and tell him, just say what's on your mind. Say why Trump is cool. And then we were just going to set him off, but it didn't work.
Hey, Rex, go find my Twitter account. Anywho.
Oh God. we knew you would not have got along with him.
Probably not.
So then after bowling, I'll start trying to wrap this up. We texted you, right? We said, John, red or black? And I'm assuming you knew what we meant, right?
Yeah.
You went black. So we all said, you know, it was busy. It was a Saturday night. We said, you know, we didn't care if we gambled. We just wanted to entertain ourselves. So we said, all right, let's all put $20. So we got $60. So we put it on black. It hit, right?
Bang.
It hit. So bang, 120. So then we walked away. We went. We actually went to an arcade. They have like a big arcade, And we had a blast. We did some competitions. They had like a mini golf game. We did skee-ball. We did basketball. Just the normal stuff was a little fun, little competition stuff like that. And I think Hambone got a whoopee cushion with his tickets. I'm not really sure. And then then this was like 10:30 now at night. Like I picked Kevin up 12 hours prior, and over 12 hours in the 85-degree sun, like drank a lot. So we were tired. And so then we were leaving. I said, well, we have this $120 in chips. And I texted you again. I said, John, red or black? And what you say?
Always bet on black.
Always bet on black, right? That's what they say in bed. So we took the 120 and we let it ride on black again. And bam, 13, baby, hit. We won again, 240. And we just said, we're good with that. Let's just let it run, baby. Let it roll. And we cashed out and we turned our $20 into $80. And that was it.
Nice.
Yeah. So we got Rats was a champ. I'll just leave it at what we call the Rats effect.
Hi,
right?
Rex.
So it's we
Rex,
kept
leave a
saying
review on Apple Podcasts.
The Rats effect is what we called it. Like he wears off on you. So the goal was, can we get Rats by the end of the golf round to say Rats effect? Like if I hit a bad shot, I'd be like, oh, that's the fucking Rats effect. Or we were just like, we got him to say it, John. And then he was saying it nonstop. It was fantastic. So, I mean, at the end of the day, we hung out for like 12 and a half hours. Absolute blast. Kevin, thanks so much for coming out there. We had a great, and I have to give props out to Kevin. He brought our kids so many little goodie bags of like Nintendo stickers, stamps, like magnets, patches, sunglasses, coloring books, like Joy-Cons, wireless controllers, water bottles.
Whoa.
like thank you, Kevin. Like truly, truly thank you. My kids were so pumped when they woke up this morning. They saw these little goodie bags for him. He even got a plushie for me, John, that I do not have. I know this is one of your favorites.
I have it. I have the same one.
I know you do. Yeah. And I don't have him. I've always wanted him, but I've never got him.
He sits really well. Like you can. He's like a bokoblin.
Yeah,
he sits really well. So when you put him down, he just sits. Like not a lot of stuff. He sit well.
No, and it was awesome. So what a fantastic time. We already didn't make this an annual thing. We probably didn't invite Rats again, unless you want to come. I guess you could take his spot.
Oh my God.
But yeah,
if I come, I'm just gonna watch you guys play golf. I'll be your.
You could drive around. You don't have to play. Just hop in the car and drive around with us.
Exactly. You know? Yeah. I'm gonna sneak it up and share a court with Hambone just for the memories.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna shower for a week. That is awesome. I was so jealous. I was so jealous watching all the pictures. You guys left me hanging a long time for a picture. I wanted a picture, and I was waiting. I assumed you guys had started early in the morning, though. I didn't realize you didn't really start till later.
We didn't. Our tea time was 12:40. So I think we sent you one at like 1 o'clock. Yeah, I mean, we didn't. Right. We weren't all together yet. I just assume golfing is always something that starts early in the morning. That's usually how it works.
So when you took this picture, wait a minute. When you took this picture, did Rex take this picture?
So there's a story about the picture. Rex took the picture, John, and
wow.
With iPhones, you can get pretty close. He must have been 25 feet away.
Yeah.
And he had his finger in the picture. But luckily, he was so far away, I could drop in, and the finger was taken out of the picture.
It is far away.
You would tell I had to zoom in on it. But Retz took a couple pictures. I'll tell you what, end of the day, Retz was a good dude. He just seems like he had a fucked up life. But he wasn't a bad guy. I'd have more beers with him.
It is weird because you guys have gone golfing. You and Hambone went golfing, and there was other people with you, and I didn't know why that was. But it makes sense. But that's weird. Like you almost want to have a group of 4 just so you don't have to share. Like sometimes when you go bowling, in the past, I've wanted to bring enough people where we can take the 2 lanes together. Because sometimes you get, how like when you go bowling, there's the lanes are paired off.
Yeah.
And, and like, so you might share seats with some strangers.
Yep. I know exactly what you're saying.
It pays to go with like 6 people to make sure that doesn't happen sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. And golf's the same thing. I mean, like you said, if you can have 4 people, that's what you want.
Right.
I guess the good thing about golf, though, is if you're really passionate and you love the game and you don't have friends, you could still go like rats.
Yeah.
Meet
some
new
friends.
people. Yeah. So that's it.
Right.
I know it took a while,
Sweet.
but we had a fantastic day and it was worth it.
Yeah. That is cool.
What about you? What have you been up to this whole time?
Much less exciting weekend, I guess. But I've had to catch up with driving with Cedric. And yesterday, early in the morning, like 6:30 a.m., was the first time we're going to take Cedric out on real roads. So not highway, not main roads, but real roads, not just our neighborhood back roads. And so I say we, but Cedric and I got in the car and we drove from our house to where he does his Taekwondo lessons.
Mm-hmm.
And so that involved getting on a real road with real cars and making some real turns.
Was he nervous?
He was nervous, but
yeah.
We usually can take the highway, but there's a back way too. So we didn't take the highway. So we got there. He was super excited because not only is it the first time he's driving on a road, but like he drove to his Taekwondo studio that he started when he was 6 years old. And now he's driving there. So that was very cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then later on, he actually had a class. I dropped him off. So I had him drive there again. And then later on, we picked him up after getting some groceries and I had him drive home. So it was cool. It was like we got a lot of time in some real roads. He's getting better. I mean, he's getting more comfortable. He's not perfect yet, but he's getting more and more comfortable. So, so that's been good. I did lose his Splatoon 2 data. I feel really bad about that. He got the new Splatoon OLED since the last episode. So we both got one. I got one. He got one. And he tried to do the transfer on his own. He just not that like I was like, don't bug me, but he just wanted to do it on his own.
Yeah.
And so I guess what he did is he tried to transfer his games one at a time. And then he tried to transfer his user. So he had created on the new system his own account again, and he linked it again. And then it was like, but he couldn't transfer his user over. And I was like, oh, and then I was like, oh, he created an account. And I said, no, we need to delete this account. We'll just transfer the user over. And he didn't tell me like what he had done. He didn't mention anything at all.
So
I deleted it. I deleted it.
You deleted it.
Well, and then I transferred the user over properly. It took a while, but he lost his Splatoon data. And it was because he transferred the Splatoon data and didn't tell me that he did. Yes.
He already transferred it. So then you overrode it. I got you.
Yeah. I felt bad. I felt worse than he did because I'm like, oh my God, he just lost all his data. But realistically, he's not going to play Splatoon 2 again. So it's like, it would have been nice to keep that data, but whatever. He didn't seem cut up about it. I was like, you should have told me. And he's like, well, you didn't ask. And I was like, it's it's up to you.
Why would I ask that question? Yeah.
I would have randomly asked that. So yeah, but that was pretty much the weekend, and I've got some work stuff in the works for tomorrow. Tomorrow could be a very cool day.
Ooh, you should update me that offline
today
later.
If you're listening. Yeah, tomorrow is a big day for John Blanco. So it was relaxing weekend or whatever, but I'm happy for you. I'm not at all insanely jealous that you got to have a whole fun weekend with the Horsemen.
The Horsemen, the 3 Horsemen.
That was cool. Speaking of the Horsemen, what is it that Horsemen should do?
Where are you going with this one? Manscape? It should Manscape. So speaking of Manscape, if you haven't heard already, it's smooth sap summer. John, do you shave your balls when you shave? Like, do you straight razor your balls?
No.
No?
I manscape. Yeah.
So you electric shave lawnmower 4.0 your balls?
When you say straight razor,
well, I think
of when you go to when I hear straight razor, I think of when you go to like a barber and they use the blade
Well,
but
I'm
you
thinking
just
of,
mean
the
like
4-blade Gillette
Yeah.
razor.
Yeah. No, I don't. We've gone over this. You do
I
the
know.
floppy noodle thing. I am never going there. I
floppy
don't even want
noodle
that
thing.
visual. And every time you do the Manscaped read, I think of you just kind of like spinning it around like a helicopter. And I don't know what I can do to get that out of my head.
And I'm going to take a video of me doing that for you. Anyways, smooth sat summer. When you're playing in the summer sun, make sure you're staped. Make sure you're staped. I don't like how I could have.
Apostrophe scaped.
Never mind. I don't. Make sure
don't
you're
say it.
staped.
No, these are sponsors.
I'm saying it. I'm not going to say that. You make sure you're staped from pubes to bum. Like that. That doesn't even fucking make sense. But anyways, that's right. It's summer to keep your balls cool. Speaking of Manscaped, God, I'm all over the place tonight. Speaking of Manscaped, you know what Kev brought the other day? So after we golfed, we're in the locker room, walking around naked. Kev pulls out, not his dick, but he pulls out the foot deodorant, the Manscaped stuff. And he's like, "You want to spray?" I'm like, "Yeah." That like I don't ever I didn't think about that. You know me, I golf weekly. And I've never thought of a foot spray after golf is probably the best time. Like after you do something, like a sport or activity.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe Cedric could use that for his Taekwondo, whatever the hell it's called. That's like a good thing. Yeah, Taekwondo, that's the one. Anyways.
Yeah, because they have to take their shoes off. I mean, they're barefoot through the whole.
Yeah, they walk around the mats and stuff. They're very little sweaty and stinky. Like maybe you should bring that for him or put it in his stocking this year. Yeah. See if he likes it.
Nice.
Anyways, the leader below the belt group making sure that we have a ball this summer by giving our pants partners pants partners. Who has ever called your nuts your pants partners? I got another story. So we'll get through this.
Can I just say, before this episode, Drew said we have to be done by 10 o'clock. It is right now 8:43.
There's no chance.
We are a half hour in, and we have barely started this show. We're so fucked. But go on. Let's hear your story, Drew.
But this is going to be a fantastic episode. And speaking of this, I actually owe Kevin and John a text message after this conversation. But I bought some new work pants the other days, and I was skeptical because they're not cheap. They were $128 per pants.
Holy shit.
But the brand, the women's brand, Lululemon, right? They made the tights and stuff.
I've never heard of that brand.
Bullshit, you've never heard of Lululemon.
I've never heard of Lululemon. What the hell is that?
They were
you said it's a women's brand.
They created the spandex yoga pants, I feel like. No?
I've never heard of the brand.
They created a men's line, and they have these work pants, they're super nice. But what I like about them is
it's Lululemon, not Lululemon. Lululemon.
No, Lululemon.
It's Lululemon.
I don't know.
All right, I'll look it up. You finish your story.
No, it's 100% Lululemon. It has a red thing with a little swirly logo.
Yeah.
One word, Lululemon.
Yeah. Oh, it's one word, huh? So it's probably not Lululemon.
Oh my God, eat my ass. Listen, it's Lululemon. All right. Anyways, these pants are fantastic. I recommend them to everyone. I'll send anyone the link that wants them. But they're the wrinkle-free ones. And then to the things they're super nice. You could wear them every day to work, but you could also probably wear them to a wedding. They're just that perfect mix. They're kind of stretchy a little bit. But yeah, that's it. I still have 2 more lines of this Manscaped ad, so let's see where we go with that.
Oh my God, it is Lululemon. I can't believe I was wrong on that.
Mark this down, folks, because it's not often that I'm right and John is wrong.
How is it Lululemon?
Soaked in the sun. Listen, I know my brand. If I'm buying $128 for pants, I'm gonna know how to pronounce the name. I might not know how to pronounce staped or pubes or whatever the hell we've been saying all night. But I know my Lululemon. Let me tell you. So give our pants partners everything they need to stay fresh. Dive head first into the smooth sack summer by going to manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping with the codes NINDADS, NINDADS. I'll be honest, I've never used that code. Just going to say that right there, folks. Never done it, but I have their product.
That's because you're an influencer.
I'm an influencer, all right.
Yes.
You know who could probably use a good Manscaped? Rats.
It's time to look at the bounty board.
Flying through the bounty board. Right now, we do not have any bounties. There's no bounties. We are going to correct that soon. And there's a reason why we don't have any bounties. Because Nintendo Force put out their new magazine, and we checked. And as far as we know, nobody got their response in there. The good news, Drew, we don't have to pay anybody any money.
As the financial advisor of this podcast, I couldn't be happier.
Yes.
But you know what I am disappointed with, and I would have loved to give money away for this? I was so hoping to see, like, from the meat. And I wanted it splattered all over that section of people that wrote in.
I think we had some good answers. I know I like my answers, but
I think we should extend this. If someone can get the word as the meat into next magazine.
The meat? All right, we'll consider that one. That's
okay. The meat.
We did do a contest last week for a game code for Splatoon 3. We got a lot of great feedback on that one.
A lot.
The winner was Arif0 on Twitter. Her name's Emily. So
it's a chick. Congrats,
yeah, she got the code. It was great. Very happy. I did have some trouble getting the code from Best Buy. I won't get into the story, but oh my goodness, Best Buy did not send out the code promptly.
Oh my God.
I had to do a refund, talk to their customer service. I got it through Amazon. It was a whole big
Best
thing.
Buy.
Yeah.
You and
so
Best Buy.
I don't think I'll do day one codes from Best Buy anymore.
It wouldn't happen with Lululemon.
So that was a great contest. We got another one lined up, a big one lined up next month.
We do?
So keep an eye out for that one.
John, can I just say, I think we should take a pause here and give you for the efforts you're doing on Twitter. Well done.
Thank you.
You're doing a good job. You're doing a great job. Well done.
Thank you. I was doing that while you were gone.
Cruising.
You were on the cruise. Oh, that was when we did Cult of the Lamb.
Oh, yeah, that one you didn't even ask for.
That was different.
You didn't even ask for me on that one.
We knew we were doing Splatoon 3 a long time ago.
Yep.
We're gonna have another big one, and who knows, maybe we'll do a little one. I like some of these indie games that come out. Sometimes they can be handy too, but we'll see. Dad's After Dark Strikers Club. Drew, I have news for you. I played Mario Strikers today. 3 games. I hadn't played it in about a month.
Let me guess. Hold on. You went 1 and 2.
1 and 2. One of my losses was a 10-0. I kid you not. No. The biggest shit kicking. This guy did the pass it up and down and then just boink it in. Like he knew how to manipulate the goalie. Yeah. And every shot I took, I had some good shots. Nothing got by him. It was pretty sickening. That was my first game. And I won the second game. And then the third game was whatever. I lost at the end. But I felt good. I felt good to like play a little bit.
Yeah.
Can you guess how many people have played Strikers Club this season? That is ending. By the time you hear this podcast, it's over, but it's ending tonight as we record.
Like on our club?
Out of our like 17 people, how many people played?
Do I count you or no?
Count me.
2. Yeah.
It was me and an informant.
Yeah.
Not a surprise. And honestly, I wouldn't have played unless an informant asked people if they could play.
I know. And I wish I could have. This was a terrible. I haven't touched my Switch since probably Wednesday. And I know that's bad. And I wish I could have. And we'll talk more about why that later. But I know. Thank you, informant. I wish I could have joined you. I feel bad about not jumping on. I do.
It's okay. The funny part is we are still, an informant has played about 23 games. So he's put in a good number. Yes.
He's carrying us.
We are number 1 ranked in our division, basically on the shoulders of an informant.
Was anyone else playing?
That's ridiculous. And it's just us 2. No, there's other teams and they have points.
Okay.
I think I got us a 15-point padding because when I jumped in, we were up by like 5.
Okay.
So I think that might hold because I don't know a lot of people are playing. And we are ranked 287th
in the world.
Yeah.
That's
like,
not good for
that's
Nintendo. That's great for
there's
us.
two of
Terrible for Nintendo.
two of us are playing, and we're 287 in the world.
Could you not say that you're playing? I mean, you played 3 matches.
I know. I played.
You're acting like, well, the 2 of us have been playing. No,
I would rather let's put it this way: the informant and I have combined for 26 games.
No, that's bullshit.
But yeah, so that is where we are with Strikers Club. So we still got the Strikers Club. Obviously, not a lot of people playing. It was bananas only for this season, by the way.
I love a good banana.
Which actually was really fun for the 3 games I played because it was just less hectic. It was really hard. In fact, I played 3 games and there was not a single hyper strike. It's really hard to get separation when all you have is bananas. Bananas should work, but none of us could get any separation for it. So it actually made it to be a very strategic passing battle. It's too bad they haven't made some more significant changes or done something really goofy and fun. I don't know. So we have that. A reminder, our September review contest. Our September review contest is ongoing.
Yes.
Leave a review specifically with Apple. These are Apple reviews. You can do that through your podcast app on your phone, or you can just find us just via the web. Leave a review, and if your review, and you can do a re-review. It's fine. You can, if you've reviewed us before, do it again.
Because it will come back up.
They update and they show up.
Yep.
Any review that takes place in September, at the end of the month, we're going to wait like till probably October 3rd or so to make sure they all come through. We're going to give away a $50 eShop card to a random reviewer.
Listen, this is an easy one, right, folks? I know it doesn't take a lot of effort. You don't have to write a paragraph. Give us a sentence or 2. And I mean, you're not going to get hundreds of people that are going to be doing this like they did on Twitter, right? So I will say, though, thank you. We've had, I think I said 13 already, right? So we're averaging more than 1 a day. So we really appreciate it. I will say, just if you could help us out, because it's not easy for us to see. If you live in a country outside of the United States or Canada, please just let us know you submitted one in what country. Because we have to manually search each country. And we can't just search infinity. We can't just search every country. So if you tell us, we'll search it. But we got to know. We know we have a lot of listeners in the U.S. and Canada, so we search those regularly. But let us know.
Yep.
This is an easy one. You have a good chance of winning $50.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to get a good number of reviews. But yeah, just give a review and you could win $50. It's like almost a full price game. And there's some good games coming out. And then finally, monthly I shouldn't have stolen that from you. Take it away.
I'm still a little monthly man. John, who won? Who won the Mario Kart Wave 2 racing? Because it wasn't me.
Wave 2. It was a really good matchup. Everyone was looking at a Sean Abbott versus DeLeon. It is Dylan, but we're just going to call him DeLeon. We like it.
Yep, I agree.
And Sean Abbott got upset by Hoots Magoots.
John, what comes to your mind when you hear when you hear the word hoots? Like, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
I think Hoots Magoots.
Is it? I don't know. Is that a person?
No, I don't know. It just comes to my mind.
I think of like an owl.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
It could be. Just let us know, Hoots. What is it?
Maybe it's like his name is like Herman Oots, and it's just Hoots.
So DeLeon versus Herman.
Yeah,
Herman Oots.
But Hoots upset Sean Abbott. Wow. I mean, Sean, I listen to Game Pass News all the time. Usually when I'm mowing my lawn, strangely, I think because they release Saturday mornings, and that's when I mow.
It's funny how that works out.
And Sean plays a lot of Mario Kart to get his times in. So that was a big upset. And in the finals, DeLeon took the title. He wins a $15 eShop card. And then we are going to take everybody else's performance based on how much you've won, give you some lotto balls. And before the show, we did a random lotto drawing, Drew. And the winner was...
The winner of the random $10 shop card goes to the informant. Well done.
Wow.
Well done. Like I said, this is complete luck. Obviously, the better you place, the more balls you got. John and I had a chance, though we didn't have too many balls. I think John actually only had like 2 or 3. But yeah, we all had balls, and
Informant is we have given him so much money.
He probably could start like a fund, like a little side.
He really could. So congratulations to Hoots and then Informant. An Informant, you get a $10 eShop card, and I will get those out to you guys tomorrow. Today, when you listen to this, you'll have it by the time you hear this. Let's put it that way. All right. Take care of you.
Yeah.
We take care.
It's time for the meat.
All right, John, you know what we need? We need like a sound effect of the meat, of just like just a dick pounding a pussy or something sloppy. Like we need like okay. Like if someone's like beating the meat, like that's what I want.
I'll work on that.
All right. Did you actually?
You have fun playing golf and gambling and playing arcade games, and I'm going to find some pornographic.
No. I don't want you to find it. I want you to make it. I want you to make like.
Okay.
Like, I want to know it's John's meat.
Hey,
it's
Michelle.
not just some internet.
Okay.
This is for the podcast, Michelle. We just have to do it. Get that mic really close. I want it. All right. So on the meat this week, we did a bunch of good stuff we're going to talk about. The first thing I want to talk about is creating kids accounts on the Switch, because we all know I had 156 hours of the Nintendo Switch last month, which is sickening, right, John? I mean, that's like, how many hours a day is that? What, 30 days? That's a lot of hours, right? Do some quick math for me. Anyways, the point is, it's because I share accounts with my kid, and he plays this.
You cheat. I just say it.
Listen,
you cheat.
It's not just a contest, or is it?
It is.
Okay, then I cheat. I cheat at the contest. Fair. So, there was a bunch of new games coming out that my kids wanted to play, and I said, I gotta find a better method to this madness, right? So, again, we have 2 Switches, my old one and my OLED, and they have profile. Is that the right word? Profiles, right? But not like Nintendo accounts. So they have profiles.
Well,
right?
you have a profile on the Switch that you can link to a Nintendo account, but you don't have to.
Correct. But on that, they still have profiles where they get to put their little picture, and it says their name. But when you click it, it doesn't really have anything associated with it, right? Like I can't go onto the eShop and buy a game under my son's profile, so there's no account linked to it. It's just a profile. Linked, yes. So when we play Brain Age, it's okay because you needed them to have profiles so they could save their stuff to it, right? So that's what we have. But when my son plays a game on my old Switch, he's selecting my profile because that's where the digital game was purchased, because it's tied to my eShop. That is why when people log on, they see that. So the problem when you do that is, if my son's playing a digital purchase game on the old Switch, I cannot play any game digitally unless I go to airplane mode. Right, and I would not be able to play any online games. So I could not play Splatoon 3 handheld on my Switch if he's playing a digitally purchased game under my account. It doesn't work, right? I've had so many conversations with John on this thing. He's been trying to help me and explain it to me, and it was just over the years, right? It's kind of like a bad method that I started, but then I was so committed to it because I was buying Lego games on my account, so he had to play them digitally, right? So over the years, I started learning that I need to buy a couple options. I need to buy the game physically, because then it doesn't require the internet, and he can play his game in airplane mode, and then it won't affect me. Or I need to do something else. So I started. I said, let me go to the Nintendo website, right, and let me see what they truly have. They only have these parent and accounts and stuff like that, and you could link them. So what I did was, and what you can do is, you can go to your account, and then you could create a kid's account under their profile on the Switch, right? And it's tied to my account, but he doesn't have like the same access. It's his own profile, and it's considered a kid's account. And I get it. This might sound silly to some people, but to me, this is something I probably just should have did a long time ago. So it's a kid's account, kid's profile under mine, which means now he can go log in when he goes to play his digital game. He can select his name, not mine, and play the game and tie all the saved data to his account. And again,
amazing.
It's game changer for now. We can play 2 Switches at the same time.
Right. But you have to buy the game, right?
Physical.
Well, physical, or he has to own it on his account.
Correct, but since it's a kid's account, like there's no credit card or anything tied to. I guess I still could. You're right, because it's still tied under my parent account, so I could log under his account through the eShop. But all past games, I never did that. So going forward, if I buy a digital game, I have to do it under his profile. Right. Which I should be able to do. So that's going to solve a lot. And I needed to do this now because my daughter's been into the Switch and she's been using mine. Right. So that complicates it even worse now, of which profile should she use. So, and again, we'll get into what games they've both been playing later on. But it's just to say out there, it's something, if you've never done this before, you should go do it. It's super simple. Did it right on Nintendo's website. And it just walks you through the process, like, super simple. So
and then you can control their like switch time and stuff like that, so you can do parental controls.
You could take it a step further. I think you can use the app and do it through there as well and all that.
You get the app, and then you can, like, I used to keep Cedric limited to like a couple hours a day. I've kind of resolved it because he can just play forever and ever. So you can throttle that this way, because what you don't want them to do is like grab the Switch and play it at night while they're supposed to be in bed or something like that. I don't know. Your kids are younger, but
it's tougher for us. But I mean, we're still
if you have those parental controls, then they just can't do that at all.
Do you get like notification if they log on? If you can, I wonder if you can set that like on your phone.
I don't know specifically. It will tell you how many hours they've played, so that's really all you need. Even if it doesn't alert you at that moment, if you look back and say, "Whoa, you did 5 hours on Saturday," or something like that, then it's good to have. It gets a lot of data.
So my kids still are not allowed to play games Monday through Thursday.
Wow.
So that's tough for them when like a new game comes out or they get one for their birthday or something and they're excited to play. So we still hold pretty. Now that's only during the school year. The summers are different, but school years Monday through Thursdays, no games. So you can only imagine like Fridays, like they want to stay home and relax and play games. Yeah, it's weekend.
Right.
So
get some beers, play some Lego. Nice. I'm glad you finally done this, because it was just bizarro to me that you were having to play on your account.
Yep.
Now you feel like you should have done this a little bit sooner.
Well, it just makes it easier if I want to play a game. Like, I can physically now play Splatoon 3 online. And I knew that was part of it, right? I knew that Splatoon 3 was coming out, and I said, I'm going to start buying him just physical games if they sell them, because it's going to make it so much simpler. He could play airplane mode, because he's not going to be complaining online, right? I mean, at his age, I don't want him to be anyway, so works out great. Yep, finally did it.
Cool. Big news. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are getting a new OLED. Wow. Right after Splatoon OLED comes out, we're getting one for Pokemon Scarlet Violet. This does suggest to us, like, are we going to get any new Switches that aren't OLED? Is that it?
No.
Like, they still sell the original one, but it's like, and I just saw them in stores the other day. I saw the original versions. Usually a lot of the Animal Crossing is still popular and being sold.
Yep.
But I've seen more of the neon OLED, the white OLED, Splatoon OLED, which is probably sold out by now, and then Scarlet. So it's like all of them just seem to be OLED now.
I agree. With that.
Do you think that this suggests that when we eventually get the next major upgrade to the Switch, which can't be more than a couple years away, I mean, it should be yesterday if you ask me, but do you think that will just be OLED? Do you think they're going to stay OLED, or do you see them maybe when they sell a new model just go back to the old screen? I don't think they can go backwards, if you ask me.
No, they'll never go better. And I think we touched on this a little bit an episode or two ago when we were saying about the increase in pricing with the PlayStation and stuff, right? Last episode, about how this was kind of their increase, but also there was features associated with it. So it didn't feel like the increase, right?
Right.
No, I think the OLED is here to stay. I mean, God, I hope that
it's gorgeous.
They just changed the name. I hate how like that's legit the name of this
the
model
OLED
to me.
model. I think it just
that's
helps to
really lame.
clarify what it is. Yeah, I mean, I
Yes
think
and no, though. I mean, like, imagine like back in the day, like, oh, you got like your LCD model, or I don't know. I mean, or your 1080 model. It just seems like odd to me.
they could have
Like,
called it something different, like Switch Plus or whatever. But I think OLED model
yeah.
really does. It takes the major difference, even though it's not the only difference. It takes the major difference and makes sure that people understand it's really a screen change, even though there's other things. I'm okay with it. But,
and as far as, like you said, the upgrades of the Switch 2 or whatever it might be, I mean, I'm going to be honest, we're fucked. When they announced that Mario Kart was going to be having waves of new content through 2023, they pretty much told you there will not be a new system before that ends. Because there's no way. No, they wouldn't do that.
I don't think that's
there's
what
no way
that
they would
means.
It does. It does. Why would they introduce a new system when there's content coming out for an old system still? Or a new Mario Kart game. It's just not
because you'll be able to play. So we know that the next Switch is going to be backwards compatible. It would be insane not to when you have this many sales, right? So the next Switch will be completely backwards compatible. So I don't think that means that we're not going to get a new model Switch before that. I think what it does mean is that we're not going to get a new Mario Kart for 2 years.
Correct.
Or whatever time is left now. We're not going to get a new Mario Kart, but they could put out a new Switch and you can still play Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on there with the new content. I don't see that as that. And they better get one out because we're going to see games coming out. When we got Overwatch 2 and Hogwarts Legacy. These are doomed. I think I told you last week that like I saw Death's Door on the Switch and was like, wow, this does not look good. And this is kind of like an indie game.
I mean, but you think about Fall Guys. We've talked about Fall Guys, and Fall Guys is not a complex game.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it has a lot of people playing at the same time, right? So that's a processing thing. But it's a very simple game. It's not a high demand of process. Like it's...
We're seeing this theme with everything. Unless it's like a Nintendo first-party game or most indie games. Every game seems to be compromised now, and that is not good. By the way, I may have talked about it, but like I've been paying attention. They've been putting out, have you noticed, a lot of Life is Strange ads on the Nintendo channel, and I'm seeing them on the Life is Strange channel too. A lot. Like, I mean, every like 3 or 4 days, we get a new commercial for Life is Strange. The frame rate that they're showing is horrible.
Yeah.
And this is like, I mean, I'm buying it anyway, but like, I'm looking at this like, this looks bad. And like, and they're advertising this like twice a week now. I am terrified for what this is going to look like. And True Colors looked great on the Switch. I mean, it wasn't the same, but it looked really good on the Switch. These ads make the original Life is Strange look awful. So I'm like worried. They need to update this hardware.
Find a way to tie it back, John.
I mean, I have to, but it's true. Like they need to upgrade this hardware yesterday. I can't believe. I can only think it's just the COVID thing and like how everyone's having trouble getting new chips. Yeah, I wonder if that didn't happen, if we didn't have this problem, if there would be a new Switch out. Possibly.
Maybe, but maybe. I mean, anyways, back to the original point. Scarlet and Violet OLED announced. What are your thoughts? I mean, you're gonna pick this up or no way?
I don't think I'm gonna pick it up. If I have the opportunity and I just come into some like side money or whatever, maybe I'll just buy it and keep it sealed.
You'd know if you walked into Best Buy and it was there.
It would be hard to resist. Yeah. I think I said this before. I love the Splatoon OLED model. This is my final Switch main. I'm not going to switch out this one for another Switch until the next Switch 2 comes out. So if, like I said, if I buy this Pokemon model, it's not for me to play. It's just to like have it because I think it looks really neat.
Breath of the Wild 2 with your gold Joy-Cons, you wouldn't buy
Absolutely not. No. Yeah. Oh, and I might buy that too.
Mark that down.
I'm not saying I wouldn't buy it. I'm just saying it's the Splatoon one is the last one that is my main because I said the Joy-Cons are super tight on it. That the color on the Joy-Cons is crazy good. And now that I'm enjoying Splatoon 3, and we'll talk about that a little later, like that's my forever game, probably the rest of the Switch. So I see every time I pick up the Splatoon OLED model out of its dock, I'm just like, God damn, this thing looks great. So that's my last one. I do love the Scarlet and Violet edition. The back of it, most of the customized Switches have like a very clear or glossy back. So if you look at the back of a Splatoon one, it's really just a gloss. It's not like a color. And I think the Diablo one had white, and the Monster Hunter has some white on it. This one has color on the back. So it's very busy looking, but it's color. It's really cool.
It's funny when you look back at the Diablo one. I was looking at your boxes the other day. Like that one, first of all, it's ugly. It sucks compared to every other one. And like, what a weird game to do it for.
It's exciting that they did it because it's like a third-party game.
Yeah, but what a weird choice.
It
out
was
of all the choices.
The Joy-Cons were just gray. They didn't even have new Joy-Cons. And the back of it was like the side view of Diablo. It's hard to even make out what it is. It was pretty bad, but the box was really hot. I like the box. So. And it did come with Diablo. I think it can. I think that one actually came with the game and the case, and it was like $400. But like most of the other themed systems don't actually come with the game. Like the Splatoon ones didn't come with the game because I don't know why, but they just don't.
I know. Why not? Yeah,
so pretty hot. I like it. I like the dock. I think it's the best looking dock we have ever seen on a Switch. It's a white dock with red and purple characters. It's very colorful and neat. I love it. I don't like the Joy-Cons though, where they just kind of put the logos on the bottom. They look like they barely fit. Yeah. But I love the back of it, and I love the Pokeball on the back of the dock. But literally nobody's going to see it once you set it up, so that's really weird. Right? You're not going to see who sets up their Switch dock so that you can see the back of it. Nobody.
Nope.
So very cool. All right. We have news about Mario Kart Tour. This is the mobile game, removing their gacha mechanics. So this is interesting. They have gacha mechanics, and I don't really play Mario Kart Tour. But if I'm going to play Mario Kart, I'm just going to play on my Switch. But they had some, gacha mechanics that were in there. You pay for something, you might get what you want, you might not. And they removed it out. It sounds like that could be because some countries don't allow it. That's what I heard from the Nintendo dads, so I take their word. But it begs the question, are you going to play this now? Does this change you, or you're still not going to play?
The problem I have with these types of games, right, especially on mobile, right, when you play a mobile game, it's you play it at like a 5-minute break at work or on the shitter or around your house. The problem with these types of games, when you're playing online on your phone, it's like you can't pause it, you can't stop.
Correct.
So like, at least if you're playing an online game at home on your Switch, like you're typically probably you're sitting down, you're going to do it. Right. But on my phone, like I could be interrupted at any moment. I get a phone call in the middle of playing that's going to turn off. I get a text message. Like it's just, I don't know. Online games like that on your mobile phone, I've always had problems with because it's like at any time you could be interrupted. Right, because you're somewhere or something's going on. So
and on top of that too, like if you're in the middle of like an RPG or something like that, like and you like switch apps or whatever, there's no telling that you come back and the app isn't resetting. That you might come back and it can continue, but when you take a Nintendo Switch and you just hit the power button and you're just playing a one-player game, it will continue from where you left off. So that's always been a big problem with mobile games is they have to manage. It's almost like constant autosave. I'm not interested in it. Like I said, because I play the console version of the game. So I'm not really their audience. But I also had the other question. Seeing a game remove these sort of mechanics, are there any games, Drew, that you would love to see mechanics change? And I'm not sure we've ever really seen this from Nintendo. I think we've seen it from like maybe some third-party games. I know there was some stuff with Star Wars, but like certain mechanics being removed from a game to make it more fun to play. I don't know. You don't have to answer that question right now.
It's such a good topic. I think we should table it because I want to.
Okay.
I guess I gotta be honest. I kind of overlooked this when I just was focused on Mario Kart when I read this, and then I didn't think about it. Let's save this. I think
it's a tough one.
It's interesting though because I think you can do a lot of different ways with it.
Right.
let's table it because I'd like to think about that and come back with some. That should be a good topic.
Yeah, because we actually have seen some games. This has happened in the last 5 years where a game comes out, doesn't do that great, and then like a year later, they like re-release the game with changes to it. And it's like, hey, this game's different now. You might like it, right? And we saw No Man's Sky has done updates, but we've actually seen games just fully re-released with different play and different things removed. In fact, what was the game? Super Lucky's Tale was one of them. Where the game came out, it didn't do that great, and it was called Super Lucky's Tale, I think. And then they just re-released it, and it was called New Super Lucky's Tale, and they made like significant changes to the formula, and it was much better. So
I was listening to the Nintendo Power podcast the other day and talking about Splatoon 3 and stuff, and they were saying how they did a little play test last weekend, and when they have their testers, like, let's say they have a dozen Splatoon 3 testers. I have no idea how many it is for Nintendo. The amount of data that they grab from that is obviously enough to feed the game and make development changes. But like that one weekend had millions of game testers that that value of those testers that you're getting for free. Right. Is invaluable. Right?
Yes.
Like it's invaluable compared to the 12 Nintendo employees that you hired to test that game. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just,
those are absolute network tests. They need that data. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's just a good thing like that. I mean, I know it's a little bit different because it's not but it could. I think that's to your point of when games release, and then now they have this data of people playing. Maybe not millions like Splatoon did, but thousands, right? Of testers. It's like it's a big difference.
Yeah, because even a lot of games have like pre-release, right? Like Disney Dreamlight Valley is in pre-release. Yeah. Like it's sure to cover their butt, and hey, if something goes really bad, they can say, oh, it's pre-release. It's
beta mode. We're in beta mode. Yeah,
but it's essentially final.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of Disney, they put out an announcement with a whole bunch of Disney game news, and I know you're into this. So here's what they announced. They announced, in no particular order, Tron Identity, which is a visual novel game. No details were offered on this. A visual novel game coming out in 2023. Illusion Island, which I think is the one that people have mostly talked about.
Yes.
Which looks like a sort of, not a continuation, but part of the Illusion series, Castle of Illusion, World of Illusion.
But it's in the art style of the new Mickey and Minnie animated that they're all in on. It's everywhere in the parks, the cruises, the TV, Disney Plus, everywhere. Yep,
yeah, it's a new style. Yeah.
Will you play this?
Would I play this?
Depends on what else is out at that time, maybe.
Yeah, no, we can talk about it at the end, but no, I'm not going to play this. So this comes out in 2023. Yeah. Midnight Suns, we got a release date for. That is from the XCOM people. That's just the way.
We knew about this one.
We did. We didn't have a release date. December 2nd, 2022. And I've heard some conflicting things. Like, this isn't just XCOM with Marvel characters. It's a bit of a different game, too. So, but we'll see. We don't know a ton about this game yet.
Yep.
Strike Force is a mobile RPG that's coming out September 13th. Whatever. I think it's a Marvel-y thing.
I think it's like a turn-based, like 5v5 or something. I feel like I feel like there's millions of these games.
There are, because they're easy to play on mobile. And they're a good format for mobile.
Yeah.
Marvel Snap comes out October 18th. This is a full-on mobile card game. Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga Galactic Edition. DLC and character packs, and that comes out holiday 2022. So this is kind of a repackaging of the game. They're going to put some new characters in here, and then I guess there were DLC packs. I wasn't even aware there was DLC for that game yet. They're just going to bundle it all together now. We see this a lot when games come out.
The DLC randomly drops different characters and stuff. Yep.
It is weird because I feel like there should be more content for this game. You usually see these things packaged up when they're done. And they put out like a final version with all the DLC.
Yeah.
But whatever. I mean, that's coming out holiday 2022. Maybe they are wrapping it up. Oddly, we're going to get a new version of Gargoyles. So this was a Genesis game from 1995. And we're getting some sort of remake or remaster or sequel or something. Not much known about this one, but that was very unusual.
This is one of those like diehard fans are obsessed over it. You either are all in or you're not really sure what it is.
Yeah, I think I've seen this before, but I would be more familiar with like Gargoyles Quest than this. And then finally, an update on Disney Speedstorm, which I know you're excited about. It is coming soon.
But,
yeah,
well, now this was supposed to be summer of 2022, so
okay,
we're running out of time.
You're right. Okay, yeah. What do they have? 10 days?
Yeah. So I mean, I'm guessing it's probably fall. But speaking of this, I know we don't have it listed because it's not a video game, but I wanted to mention it because there's a lot of video gamers and also board gamers and stuff like that. So Disney released, John, this is a pretty big deal. They released this new trading card game. I'm going to butcher this, called Lortana, which is their it's Disney's version of Pokemon meets Magic the Gathering. It looked. I'm not one of these collectors and card collectors or players, but it looks pretty cool. It looks pretty awesome. The lore, the art styles.
You say it looks cool. It looks awesome. Would you describe it in any other way, Drew? Was it?
Well, I mean, I think
amazing?
This is something. No, I wouldn't say that. But it looks neat. I mean, again, it's not
neat.
Something. It's not something I would invest. I think because these types of things, you go down the rabbit hole, right?
This is thousands of hours of time investment.
But you know how many people are going to go all in on this, and I mean, who knows how much it will take? I mean, look at Pokemon took off. I mean, you never know. You just never know what this. And Disney fans, John, they're crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, but I want to mention Lortana. Look it up. It's neat. Not amazing.
Have you noticed?
Neat.
It's not amazing. We're getting a lot of Disney games. I mean, like, where does this come? Does this come from like the new CEO? I know he's pretty recent. But like, why are we getting all of these Disney games?
Well, John, we're going to have to really think about this come January, because if you remember my prediction last January, I said Disney, I forget the exact wording, along the lines, Disney will be releasing something video game related. I think my exact comment was something to do with Disney Plus. I think we'll have to go back and look at it. But I said Disney is going to be entering the video game and gaming market quite intently. And I don't know if this is considered it. We'll have to see what the wordings were. But yeah, they're making they're trying to push it hard for their name. I mean, let's be honest. Disney has always been involved, but I think they took a long time off, like in the middle. I think when Nintendo Sega days, like Disney was everywhere, right? They wanted their games out there because they wanted their movies out there, and then they kind of took a step back, right? I think there was in maybe the early 2000s, and they didn't really do too much. But now they're pushing hard. They're coming up their own IPs and their own franchises and really pushing stuff.
Yeah, so, and they look like they're kind of just copying some genres, right? We have Animal Crossing Disney, and we're gonna have more Mario Kart Disney, and but interesting. We'll see. I don't think the Illusion game is probably the most quote unquote exciting of these announcements. Because it looks like some sort of platformer or 4-player co-op or something like that. But honestly, I think it doesn't look great. I thought the trailer was really funny. That humor of that show was kind of brought along, even at the end when it was a Goofy who was saying like TBD.
Goofy.
Yeah,
that was
so.
Fun.
Goofy's such a different character in that style, but it didn't look great. It's like if you actually look at the gameplay, it looks like it's kind of this single screen co-op-y thing. It looks kind of like those mobile graphics. I don't know. I wasn't.
You know what it reminded me of though, John? It reminded me of like we just said, like the old back in the day Sega, Super Nintendo platformer Disney games. Like nothing special. Like this isn't. You know what I'm saying?
But I loved Castle of Illusion. Like I loved those games. Those were like pure platformer games. These don't look like platformers.
I don't know. I mean, I'll tell you what. I showed my kids the trailer, and they're like, "That's awesome! Can we all play together? I want to be Goofy. I want to be." We'll play it as a family, maybe.
Yep. Oh yeah, it's made for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just mean, just from my personal taste, I don't think I'm interested in this one, but I do love those cartoons, though.
Yeah. Same.
All right. Midnight Suns, by the way, I'm iffy. I want to love XCOM so bad. I've tried it so many times over the course of this show. I have tried it on so many consoles, so many ways. I really wish I could get into like Midnight Suns, but I'm not going to give that a try. I just can't. I can't do it anymore. All right, Drew, take a nap for a second. You need it. I want to talk about some news that we got this week. This is weird news. As you know, Xbox purchased Activision Blizzard, or attempted to purchase them last year. So it's a pretty big announcement. And Activision Blizzard has a lot of IPs. And one of their biggest ones, if not the biggest one, is Call of Duty. And I guess, there's always been discussion about, oh my gosh, is Call of Duty going to become an Xbox exclusive? And we've heard a lot of things from Phil Spencer, the president of Xbox. It says, no, it's not going to be. And it's kind of a weird sordid tale. But what happened this week is that the dude that runs Sony, right, said something interesting about Xbox and their ownership of Call of Duty and its exclusivity. And I wanted to kind of do a deeper dive, if you will, of what this is. So you didn't see this news, right? This is you weren't paying attention to this one, right?
No.
Okay. All right. So where do we start? So first of all, the issue that's going on here, the issue, the core issue with all of this is that Jim Ryan, who's the CEO of Sony, and he's probably about as much of a figurehead of Sony as you'll get. Most people have no idea who Jim Ryan is. He's not the same as like a Reggie. Had some quotes that basically said, kind of whiny quotes. And they were, the quotes came off as like, hey, you can't take Call of Duty away from PlayStation players. And so it became kind of a fun thing, in social media, which is like, well, they bought it, and, you guys have bought a lot of companies and made those exclusive to PlayStation. So, wah, right? So I wanted to do a little deep dive to see, like, is this really something that happens in the industry? That we have seen games in the past. Like the first one that comes to my mind, because I'm biased, is Bayonetta, right? Bayonetta was a cross-platform game between Xbox and PlayStation. And then Nintendo sort of owned Bayonetta 2, and they own Bayonetta 3, and it is a Nintendo-only game. So if you played it on the first systems, and it was very popular, the first game was very popular on the other consoles, now they can't play it anymore. It's owned by Nintendo. Wah, right? But that's not a major title. So what I did was I took a look and to see which companies has Sony bought and which games did they sort of take away from the community. And I discovered something very interesting. And I had a lot of fun doing this. I didn't think it would be as fun. But here is a little timeline of the major companies the significant companies that Sony has bought since 2000. And this is really weird. So in January of 2001, Sony bought Naughty Dog, which is crazy, 21 years ago. And if you're me, you remember Naughty Dog as the people that made Way of the Warrior, the really bad fighting game on 3DO. But Naughty Dog made Crash Bandicoot, they made Jak and Daxter, and they've gone on to make Uncharted, Last of Us. Oddly, they made a game called Rings of Power, Drew. I was like, what? There is a game called Rings of Power that exists.
Is it Lord of the Rings related or no?
No, it's just a game called Rings of Power. So you need to look into that.
I'll have to.
But all of these games were made after they were bought by Sony. So they were making these Sony-specific games. But there's literally nothing that Naughty Dog did that was cross-platform that became PlayStation only. And Naughty Dog has gone, Uncharted and Last of Us are two of the enduring franchises of all time. They've become hugely successful and they're great at what they do. But they've always made these games for PlayStation. In December of 2005, and I didn't know this, Sony bought Guerrilla Games. That was a long time ago. And we know Guerrilla Games today for making the Horizon series, Horizon Zero Dawn, Horizon Forbidden West. But prior to that, they made Killzone. And again, they always made games for PlayStation exclusively. And they were bought by Sony, and the games stayed PlayStation exclusively. August 2011, Sucker Punch was purchased by Sony PlayStation. By the way, Sony does a great job buying studios. These companies are really good companies that have made really good games. So they've been very smart about who they buy. And the companies they buy aren't always well known when they buy them. So Sucker Punch has made games like Sly Cooper, Infamous, Ghost of Tsushima, which is what they're most known for right now. And they too have always been PlayStation exclusive. So when they purchased them in 2011, they didn't take anything away. Fast forward all the way 2019, Insomniac is purchased by Sony PlayStation. Now, Insomniac has made Spyro the Dragon, Ratchet and Clank, and then they were purchased by Sony right after they released Marvel's Spider-Man, which was a really, great game. But again, they've always been PlayStation exclusives. That's why they were picked up, because they were making PlayStation exclusive games. And Insomniac is another one of those developers that's just exploding right now. Like, they're making really good stuff, and we're going to get the Wolverine game from them. Most recently, June 2021, they bought Housemarque. And Housemarque has, again, always been making PlayStation games, and their most known game right now is Returnal. That's a Housemarque game. And then September 2021, Bluepoint Games was purchased by Sony. Those guys, they're really good. They made Ico, Shadow of the Colossus. I don't know if you've ever played. I don't think you've played those games. Shadow of the Colossus is fantastic. Most recently, the Demon's Souls remake was done by Bluepoint Games, the rebuild of Demon's Souls. Mm-hmm. Again, always been PlayStation games. And then Bungie, July 2022. That was just a few months ago. They are most known for playing Halo. They also made Myth. I loved Myth back in the day.
Oh, I remember that.
And after I don't know what happened with them, honestly, with the Halo license. Like, they got moved to another developer, but they made Destiny and Destiny 2. But when Sony purchased those, Sony said the Destiny series will stay multi-platform forever. So that's really their only IP, right? They don't make Halo games anymore. And obviously, Sony's not buying Halo. So it's really interesting that every major studio that Sony has purchased has always made PlayStation games, and they've never really taken anything away from the cross-platform community. And seeing all of these purchases, while it's not new, Activision Blizzard is so significant because this is a big game developer that makes games for all platforms, including the Switch and mobile and Sony and Xbox. And now they're talking about, well, we're going to do Call of Duty for 3 years beyond the current deal. By the way, I don't know what the current deal is. Mm-hmm. And after quite a long time of Phil Spencer saying, no, these are going to stay cross-platform games, now they're sort of hedging and saying, well, for 3 years. So I don't really have an opinion one way or the other. Xbox purchased Activision Blizzard. They can really do what they want. But really, this is something new that we haven't seen, where a big game developer is purchased and then pulled away. So what happens if Ubisoft is purchased by Sony or Xbox or, some of these other big developers right now? What happens? We don't know. So this is new. This is newer, I think, than we know. So I thought that was interesting. Okay, you can wake up now from your nap.
I'm here.
I'm trying to think of I know Blizzard has done some games, like we've gotten the Diablo games on the Switch. Like, what games could be threatened that they wouldn't be on the Switch anymore because they were purchased? But we've seen Nintendo buy some companies that have made I think level 5 games, I think it is. Yep. That they make games for the Nintendo all the time anyway, and now they're owned by Nintendo. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, in 5 or 10 years, we could see a bunch of big developers that just no longer make games for the consoles we love.
True.
All right, Drew, we got some questions. First question is from Mr. Sean Abbott of Game Pass News. And he asks, the wife and kids are out for the day and night. What are your plans for the day and night? No work that day or no work the day after? How are you planning your day?
Ooh.
You're playing golf, right?
I'm 100% waking up, nice cup of coffee, maybe on the deck. Then go a nice early tea time. Maybe I'll invite Rets. Yeah, and then I'd probably get something good on the way home to eat. Yes. Chinese food or something. Yes. Just something I just want that I don't get. Whatever I'm craving. I don't worry about the kids or the wife eating. Just something.
Yeah, you don't have to
want.
ask around. Yeah.
Yep. And then I'd probably see what you're doing. See if we did like a nice afternoon of some video games or something, and just that's it.
We've done that, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. We have. So
this is a fitting question because I've actually had this happen a lot. A couple weeks ago, my wife went on a camping trip, and it was just me and Melody. Yep. And on Tuesday, Michelle is taking Melody on a school camping trip. So it's just going to be me, Cedric, and Sebastian. And yeah, like she does sub work. So when the kids are all at school, if she's subbing, I have the whole house to myself all day. Oh. And it's interesting you mentioned what you would do because we talked about golf. But like, if you go golfing, you could do that while they're home and you're still by yourself. It's almost like a lost opportunity.
I know. Would you walk around naked all day? Like,
nah, not doing that. But usually when I do have the house to myself all day, KFC chicken sandwiches always is the first thing that comes to my mind. I'm gonna because I can go through the drive-through, get a chicken sandwich, not totally gorging, and I love it.
I know how much you love a chicken sandwich. Have you seen the commercials? I want to try for Chick-fil-A, the new biscuit with the little chicken patty.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
So
is it like a little one?
It looks little. You know, like the little buttery biscuits, right? They're a little bit smaller.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
And it's like a little chicken piece of it looks like fried or a chicken patty or something. Between the biscuit.
Do you remember a long time ago when KFC had something called Chicken Littles?
Oh,
so good.
So they still have them, but they're not nearly as good.
Not the same. Yeah.
It was literally like 2 bites. It was like a little Hawaiian type bun, right? And it had just a super thin little piece of chicken and then mayonnaise. That was
right.
it.
And it was so good.
You could eat probably 10 of them.
Oh, we would, my best friend and I would come home from like college and we'd swing by KFC, which was at the bottom of his hill. And we would buy like a dozen of them.
Yeah.
Man. And they were so good.
But they were like 30 or 50 cents each. Like they were super cheap.
Yeah. They should have just charged more. They probably didn't make money or they probably couldn't fulfill it or something. But man, they were good.
They were so good.
But yeah, food. I think lunch is, I can't, like last week, my wife 4 days of the week was subbing. I can't go out to eat every lunch, right? I can't really do that. But yeah, you definitely pick a day and you go get the fast food you want, bring it home. I went to KFC and I got a chicken sandwich. This is when I did the unboxing for the Splatoon OLED.
Oh, yeah, that was nice, by the way.
I left the KFC cup in there for product placement.
I saw that.
But they have a chicken sandwich box, which has chicken sandwich, fries, and a drink. It's perfect. Absolutely perfect. So that's what I'm ordering. But yeah, I'll play some games, maybe go for a walk or something like that. It's nice when it's empty. But then, when my kids go camping and I put my kids to bed at about 8:30 to 9, I have like 2.5 hours where I can just kind of do whatever I want. Where usually I'd be watching Netflix or something with Michelle. I'll like generally go downstairs and game. Like I'll do that, or maybe I'll throw a game on or a movie on while I game. Depends on the game.
Yeah, yep, agreed.
So this week I'm going to be playing my PS5 for sure. That's nice. My other thing. All right, good question. I like that. I love a good day night. Definitely take the day off work. That's, by the way, what I would do. Not the next day.
Yeah,
feels like a waste. Chris HL94. I'm going to take a nap. What do you guys think about the Rings of Power? Would you rewatch the Lord of the Rings or the Hobbit trilogies? I'll answer first, Drew, and then I'll let you go.
Okay.
I don't care about Lord of the Rings. I don't like the movies. I don't like the books. I don't like the Hobbit movies. I do like the Hobbit book. I've read it twice. So for some reason, I like the Hobbit book. I don't have any interest in the Rings of Power. Now I'll let you answer.
God, John. I mean, The Hobbit you can read in a day. It's like 200 and something pages and has pictures.
That's pictures.
Second of all,
I can fucking read.
I know you're reading champ. Would I rewatch Lord of the Rings? I mean, I'll rewatch Lord of the Rings yearly, multiple times a year. It's Lord of the Rings is my Life is Strange. Let's just say that. What do I think about Rings of Power, Chris? Let me tell you, Rings of Power is Can you just describe what it is? Some people may not know. So Rings of Power, right? So Jeff Bezos, our best buddy, right? Amazon. And he wanted to go and make the most expensive TV show of all time. So what he did was he ended up buying the rights to Tolkien and the Lord of the Rings and the whole 9 yards. And he didn't want to just recreate what was already done, right? Because Peter Jackson is amazing, John. He's amazing. He's amazing. He already created all these. He wasn't going to duplicate those efforts. So he wanted to create a lot of like the Tolkien, handwritten letters and mist strips and stuff like that, and try to build this other thing and take the whole Lord of the Rings universe and expand it. So he spent $1 billion, the most expensive TV show ever made, and created the Rings of Power. And for those that are Lord of the Rings fans, Rings of Power takes place like 175 years before the whole incident of like Sauron being defeated by Isildur and like the whole reign of the hobbits starting. Listen, John, you just sit back and enjoy. If you ever need like Lord of the Rings trivia partner, you give me a call. Anyways, 175 years prior to it. So if you remember correctly, right, there was all these rings made for the different races. It kind of combines and say, listen, like this is let's tell all these races come together and we have these rings to just kind of seal Sauron and keep him away. So this takes place like in the Second Age, right? Lord of the Rings is the Third Age, John. This is prior to it, the Second Age of men. And
stop saying John like you're talking to me. You're not talking to me. You're talking to Chris.
Listen. I just want you to listen. I'm talking to Chris, right? So what this show is about, right? We've all seen Lord of the Rings. The very first opening, like 9-minute scene is about them killing Sauron and creating these rings. Whatever, 7 rings for the elves and 9 rings for men and 3 rings for the dwarfs and so on, right? All that 1 ring to rule them all. We know it. We know this. We know the lyrics. So this show is about the Rings of Power. It's about why we created these rings to keep Sauron away, right? And there's a couple characters in there. I don't want to get too into it, but essentially what the whole show is about is how they created these rings. They think Sauron's defeated. They think he's kind of gone, and the elves want to tell the world like this is a time of peace. It's happiness. We don't have to worry about the bad guys anymore. They're gone. Now, some people think they're still alive. Again, I'm not into the characters because John doesn't care. But Chris, you know who I'm talking about, right? Elrond, Galadriel, and it's fantastic. I did not watch the 3rd episode yet. Just like I said, super busy weekend. But the first 2 episodes, John, it's one of my favorite TV shows I've ever seen. They did such a good job, and I guess when you have $1 billion to spend, it's hard to fuck it up, but you could, very easily fuck it up. And they didn't. They did not fuck it up. They did a fantastic job. What I love about it is when Peter Jackson created Lord of the Rings, it was very specific. Like this was Peter Jackson's vision, right, of Middle Earth and Lord of the Rings. The first time they ever did a live action. So a lot of people are going to say, well, how do you top that, or how is it going to be different but the same? And they did a really good job of making it feel familiar, but also making it feel very different, right? So all the races are still there, but you don't feel like it's a Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings. You feel like it's this new Middle Earth, and they knocked it out of the park. I got a little boner, a little chubby, so we should probably settle down a little bit, take it back a notch. But great question, Chris. I appreciate it. I could talk all day. We did do a Lord of the Rings podcast if you want one night. Let me know. But that's it, John. I'll leave it there. I could keep going.
Thank God.
Yes.
Got a question from Hambone Johnny.
Hambone.
He asked, why the fuck did you leave me in that golf? No, that's from the chat. Do you guys dance at weddings? My guess is John does not, but I could see Drew throwing down hard for the cha-cha slide after a few vodka sodas. First of all, Hambone, you nailed it. I don't like to dance at weddings.
I mean, I dance anywhere I can. And I'll dance at a wedding before I even drink the vodka sodas. I'll just start, and then it just gets a little bit crazier once I start drinking more. But yeah, I'm down for a good time. I don't hold back, Give me some music. I mean, I might not be the best dancer, but I'm definitely not the worst dancer.
What's a song you like to dance to? Like, just throw a song out there. Like, what's your jam?
Honestly, you just play music, and I'll dance to the groove. I don't. It doesn't matter.
All right,
you throw any song in there.
Like if you hear the chicken dance start to come on, you're just like,
Ah.
Amy, get up. We're doing
Like,
this.
You put on Gangnam Style. I'm doing like the Gangnam Style dance.
Oh man, I haven't been at a wedding where Gangnam Style come out. Like that would be.
Yeah.
You almost have to study the dance though, so you can just.
I know the dance. I just feel like I've been to enough weddings that I'm gonna know 90% of the dances that like a wedding would have.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like I practice those ones. I know those.
Depends on the age of the people getting married, of course.
True. That's also true.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Last question, Tim. Which Spice Girl? Okay, this is a fuck, marry, kill, but this is a 5-way. You ready? This is gonna be a tough one. We got to talk about this one. Which Spice Girl? They're before your time, I think. Which
90s.
Spice Girl would you fuck, marry, ignore, have on the side, and be your mom so they can be someone else's MILF? Let's work on this together.
I'm gonna let you just work through this one because I'm gonna be honest.
Really?
Obviously, I know the Spice Girls, but like there's a nice
Spice
picture.
Girls.
Appreciate the picture. Like I can't tell you. First of all, I can't even name the 5 Spice Girls. Never mind, name them.
Wow.
To each person in the picture.
I know their nicknames. I think I know most of their names. All right. Well, we're looking at this picture. Top left corner, Scary Spice.
Okay.
I forget her name.
I don't care. I just want the nickname.
Scary Spice, top left corner. Yep. Baby Spice, top middle.
Electric cleavage.
Sporty Spice, right, top right.
I like her abs.
Then at the bottom, the redhead is Ginger Spice?
I don't know.
Or is that her
She
name?
looks
Ginger.
annoying.
Yeah.
I'd probably ignore her.
And Posh Spice.
She looks interesting.
Yeah. So which one are you going for? Yeah, she's Ginger Spice. It's Jerry Halliwell. That's her name, right? Okay. For some reason, I was thinking that might be her name.
I feel like I'm ignoring her because gingers have no soul. Sorry, guys. And because I just feel like she's not feeling it.
All right. That's a weird picture of Ginger too. It's like very dressed down. Saying.
I don't like it.
She's usually wearing the British flag and she's got the hair. Yeah.
I'm going by this picture.
Okay. Let's start with the fuck. I gotta say it's gonna be between. You would think it actually between Ginger Spice. I think she seems like the obvious one.
Does she?
She's super cute, redhead. She looks like she'd be fun. Posh Spice always comes across as like the pretty one. She's posh. She wears you can see but I don't know if that's the person you want to be in bed with.
No, I feel like I'd take like a BJ in an alley from her.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like I don't even know if she'd be into that or much of anything. She'd be sort of here, just make it quick, that sort of thing. So I would say it's between Ginger and Scary Spice.
Really?
Yeah, I would say. I think Scary Spice. She looks like a lot of fun. But I've always had a thing for Ginger Spice, so she's gonna be the fuck.
Okay.
Mary. So I think Mary is sort of easy. I think that's Scary Spice. She just seems fun. You're going to marry someone. You need someone with personality. Posh Spice always just comes across as someone who's just kind of way too into herself. And Baby Spice, I don't know about when the Spice Girls were hot. Baby Spice was people really like Baby Spice, but I don't know which direction I'm going with Baby Spice. I don't know.
I'm lost. I already forgot their names, so you keep going.
All right, the blonde one, Baby Spice is the blonde one. I should have put the names right on there.
You should have mocked up the picture for me.
All right, so we're gonna say I'm gonna marry Scary Spice. She just seems like a lot of fun.
Okay.
Ignore. This one, sad to say, is gonna be probably gonna be Sporty Spice.
Oh,
I never liked her theme. She seems cool, but I've never liked her theme. She's just the most forgettable. Have on the side. So I'm going to say Baby Spice is my on the side.
Okay.
Because she is cute and she looks like fun, but she's not marrying.
I mean, how is that any different than fuck?
I think it's because how is it, right?
Time out, maybe on the side is multiple ones.
You know what? Then maybe Ginger is okay. So we'll fuck Baby Spice.
She's just
Ginger
one
will
and
be
done.
on the side. Yes, exactly.
Multiple times. Okay.
Ginger's on the side multiple times. Sorry, Scary. I hope, but Scary Spice probably wants to be involved in all this anyway. It's
open relationship. She's doing the same.
It's right.
with
And it's
me.
her friend. It's her friend.
Yeah, she's sharing me and you.
Okay. And then the last one is going to be your mom, so they can be someone else's MILF. I think it fits perfectly. That is Posh Spice, right?
Okay.
What does she look like now? She's the one who married the soccer player, Beckham.
Oh,
David Beckham.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. What does she look like right now? I bet you she's still attractive because it's her thing. Yeah, she's still hot. So I give her to you, Tim. Now, what about you? Now you got to give me an answer on this one. You don't even have to say their names. Just describe them in the photo.
I don't know.
Who are you marrying?
Who am I marrying?
Yeah, who are you marrying?
I'm gonna go with the sporty chick because I feel first of all she's wearing a Buzz Lightyear t-shirt here.
Yeah.
And I just feel like sporty, like she's gonna want to do stuff with the kids. She's gonna be athletic. She's gonna be fit all the time. I'll be seeing her every day. I'm gonna go with marry her. I already told you I'm ignoring Ginger Spice. There's something about this picture and the turtleneck. I'm just not into it.
I'll get you a better picture of Ginger Spice.
We'll do marry. I already said marry. We're gonna do this on the side. We'll have Baby Spice. And I feel like I did it after a few times. We'll do a one-time fuck with Scary Spice. And Posh will be, like you said, same thing as I think she's just a good mom.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm going with the sporty as my wife. So I feel like that could be, I think that's a good thing. Like an active wife that wants to work out and play sports, teach it to the kids type thing.
Okay.
If that's her. I mean, I'm going by their nicknames, I mean, and their looks.
Uh-huh.
But I think that's all we have, right? That's what we're going after.
Yeah, I mean, like, I loved the Spice Girls as a kid. I think I listened to a couple of their albums, and then when they came out with their first song, "Wannabe," like, it was just like, it was on every 10 minutes, like on MTV. It was crazy. So, yeah, I totally fell in love with them. They were awesome. And their video was like a continuous shot, which was actually really impressive. Like,
oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so I love that. So I love the question, Tim. We should do a whole episode on the Spice Girls. Maybe we should title this episode after the Spice Girls.
What we've been playing.
What have we been playing? Drew, I have been playing a lot. You have been playing very little. Let's bounce this back and forth. I will start because there's so many games. I had the opportunity before The Last of Us came out to squeeze in a couple of days The Walking Dead Season 3 from Telltale. I bought the whole definitive edition. It's all 4 seasons and the DLCs. It was the first thing I bought on my PS5 the day I got it. And I really loved the first 2 seasons, but for some reason, I just hadn't gotten to Season 3. It looked like it was going to be very different. And I was like, oh, it's probably going to be bad. You know, these games get bad. And I decided to squeeze it in. And my goodness, it turned out it was my favorite season. It's called A New Frontier, but it's not like a reboot or anything. It's just the name of the gang that's in the game.
Is this the one you sent me a picture of? The video.
I did send you a video. There were some shocking moments in the video. I had to send
I pay attention to you.
Yeah. I was seeing a little girl shot, which is something you just don't see in cinematic games anymore. Yeah. You know, I'm tired of not spoiling these older games.
Tired of it.
I mean, like, I definitely hesitate on spoilers for old games. Screw it. But yeah, it's like we've been following Clementine from the first game now, and she goes through all 4 seasons. She's a little girl that you kind of rescue in the first season, and then she gets older and a little more independent. By now, she's fully independent on her own, and you interact with her a few times. It's really great when you see her again. Just a great character. She's like my favorite character in the entire Walking Dead, cinematic universe, or whatever you want to call it. But absolutely, I thought this was going to be, the downslide of The Walking Dead, and now I am hyped to play the 4th season, which is, I think, a very close continuation of the 3rd one. So absolutely love it. And I'll say it again. If you like narrative games, and you haven't played the Walking Dead games, they are on Game Pass. Not all the seasons. I'll have to look and see, but that's where I first tried it and fell in love with it. And, I can't recommend. Just get the whole definitive edition with all the content at one time. Absolutely great. Absolutely love it. All right, your turn.
All right, like I said, I've been slacking, unfortunately, in my game, and I've just been busy time of the year for me. But my kids have been making up for my lack of gaming, which means they're stealing my Switches and playing on the TV. So I get to watch, and I'll grab some controller and play with them, or sometimes I'll play at night because they want me to unlock things for their game. So I'll start off with the first one. My son has been playing Lego Brawls. The new Lego game, which is, I don't want to say it's a clone of Smash, right? But it's essentially a Lego version of Smash Brothers, and it's not bad. I'll say that. It's a Lego version, right? So some of the benefits I like is they do have a lot of Lego IPs built into this game, right? They have like the Ninjago series, they have Jurassic World series, and a bunch of other ones, but they're built in. So those have all unlockable worlds and characters. The one thing about this I like about this game is you just kind of click play, and when you go to the Brawl play, you can do online or offline. We only do offline with him, and when we do it, the one thing I like that changes up the gameplay is there's like 5 different things that could happen, right? You could have your typical. It's always 8 guys, so it could be your typical free-for-all. Whoever gets the most kills and doesn't die the most wins. It could be a team event, 4 versus 4. It could be 4 versus 4, like capture the flag. It could be like hold, whoever stands in this area the most. So there's different little games, and you don't really know which one you're going to get. So that kind of gives it at least a little bit of changing it up every game and not that repetitiveness. Because it's Lego, you have, of course, some awesome and silly weapons you can get. Also, for the unlockable stuff, you can get to pick. You can really unlock hero characters. Like, for example, I think the first person you unlocked was like Owen from Jurassic World series, the Chris Pratt character. And then you also can select which franchise you want to start unlocking, right? So I think he started with the Ninjago one, and it's there's no microtransactions, but it's set up like a battle pass, right? So the more times you play, the more times you win your experience points, and it shows like a battle pass set up, like you're currently unlocking this one. Once you unlock this guy, you move on, and now you can unlock like this flame sword. Once you unlock that flame sword, you now can unlock like a new head that has like a beard or a mustache, and then the next one you get a new shirt. But they're all under the Ninjago series. So he's like 80% complete on Ninjago, and then he's gonna move on to the Wild West theme or the disco theme or the Jurassic Park theme, like and then he'll start unlocking all of those characters. So it's he's having a blast. I mean, I'd say as like an adult, a gamer like us, like we would probably get bored a little quick. But this is a game I'll pick up with him every once in a while and play. Yeah, buddy, let's play a couple rounds or something. It's smooth enough. It's fine. It's like I said, it's silly. It's fun. But yeah, Lego Brawls.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. My next one is the game that I played Walking Dead 4. By the way, I checked Game Pass. The first 3 seasons, which is basically everything that I've played, is available on Game Pass. So try the first season, and if you like it, keep playing on. But what is it? Last Friday now? When did the game come out? The Last of Us Part 1 came out for PS5. This is the remake of The Last of Us, which to me is a 10 out of 10 game in the first place. They did a full sort of remake of it. And it's interesting because it was being criticized before it was released as like, it doesn't look too different. When they said they rebuilt it, you kind of expected the cinematics to be different, but the cinematics were all the same. And it was because they were using the data that they collected to build those cinematics, but the graphics and everything are built differently. However, there are a lot of changes in the game. And the thing about it is, and I discovered this week, when you think about games that you've played in the past, I think we always think of them as looking better than they are, right? You think about, oh man, like I love Eternal Darkness on the GameCube, but if I played it right now, I'd be like, oh God, this is uglier. But in your head, it's like much better looking. So when I was playing The Last of Us Remake, I was like, okay, this looks great, but does this look really different than what I played? It feels kind of like it can't be that different. But then I watched footage of Last of Us Remastered on PS4. oh my God, it looks way better than whatever is on PS4. So it looked great. Gameplay is so good. They made some changes. They made some adjustments to the action, because since this game, they made The Last of Us Part 2. And so they took some of the things from Last of Us Part 2, especially in terms of like combat and AI with the enemies, and put in this one. This game is still a 10 out of 10. Cried multiple times. It is
Of course.
I've said, this is an all-timer, right? This is one of the best games ever made. You just never see games that have a story and gameplay and music. Everything just comes together in absolute perfection. Because I've played, usually the games that I like the most are games that are based on the action. We love Slay the Spire. Great gameplay. Graphics are terrible, right? And then there's the games that have amazing graphics, but the games are kind of boring, you know? This is just such perfection together, and what a great story. And it's grounded. It's a fantasy story about, essentially a world, the apocalyptic world, zombies, all that sort of thing. But it's a really personal story with Joel and his daughter, and then his relationship with Ellie, and what they're trying to do. And they're basically traveling across the country to try to Ellie is a very important person in the universe. And man, just what a great story. And there's even some ability to make some choices in this game that kind of alter some of the action. Just fantastic. I know Solo Something was playing it. I know Hambone's going to play it. This is just a game that like everybody needs to play and experience, because you never let it go once you finish. So I tried to 100% it, Drew. I mean, every single time I was controlling my character, I checked every fucking corner of every room of everywhere. And I'd have a person saying, "We got to go." And I'd be like, "Hold on." I'm crawling through bushes, looking for items. And I found so much more than I did in my first playthrough, because I didn't do that. But even at the end, I'm missing a lot of stuff. They do let you replay scenes, but the scenes can be kind of long too. So I'm going to go back to it and try to 100% it, because I can't. If I play the game again, it's going to be just racing through and having fun, not doing this. But man, absolutely worth the $70. If you want to have this game in your collection, worth it. Just amazing job with it. I do hope that when they put out the multiplayer stuff or whatever, that maybe they'll add it to this one. But absolutely fantastic, and it was worth the wait. Hype level achieved. How about you?
The other one I'm going to talk about is the game you've been looking forward to most, Sean. Disney Dreamlight Valley.
Nope.
Now the thing about this game is, I'm going to be blunt up front. I purchased this game mostly for my daughter, right? And I don't think I need to get into all the parts of it. This is a pre-release game. You had to pay for a founder's patch. I think we all know that, right? I think it's free on Game Pass. It doesn't technically come out till 2023, but if you paid it for it, anyways.
How much did you pay? How much did you pay for it?
There was a $30, $50, and $70 version.
Oh wow! I was thinking like 10.
No, I paid $50 for this game.
Wow! And you get more currency or something.
Yeah, you get a turtle that follows you around, John. You get certain upfront things. So this game's actually been getting fantastic reviews, and I'm shocked at the amount of people that are playing it in Discord. There's probably a good 10 people actively talking about this game in Discord.
Oh, they're playing it for now.
For now. Yeah, you know what I said? I personally, this was one of those things. I created characters 3 times, because it goes back to the accounts that we talked about earlier. I said, I'm going to create an account for myself with my own character. And I'll have my daughter create one under her profile, because maybe there's a way you can help each other and send her stuff. And then if I wanted to play, and then I realized, well, her account won't be linked to the online events because she doesn't have the NSO, because it's under my name. So then I ended up deleting my account, deleted her account, recreated her character on my account. So she's playing under my name on my Switch, and I don't really plan on playing this game. I'm gonna be blunt. Most of the time I'm watching her, but she loves it. I mean, again, she's an 8-year-old girl, and she's loving this game. I'll frankly admit, I mean, even with Animal Crossing, this isn't my types of game. I think the Disney lore really attracts people to it. But yeah, it's you hate to compare it to an Animal Crossing or a sim game, but realistically, that's what it is, and that's what we do nowadays. Especially as a Nintendo fan, you don't compare it to something you know. But yeah, I mean, you create your avatar. You don't play as a Disney character. You create yourself. You have a house, and the idea is you can make your house look like a lot of Disney themed stuff, right? So it's Disney throw pillows on your couch and a Disney themed rug and all of that stuff, as well as tons of costumes, right? There's some costumes we just recently saw from the new Lightyear movie, right? You can have like the Buzz Lightyear full suit. There's like a little Sots, the cat from Lightyear, like a little thing you can put on the wall. Stuff like that. So there's a lot of like current themed stuff. And I really like that there's a lot of unique characters. Like some of the first missions and quests you do, right? Merlin from Sword in the Stone is kind of the main guy. Remy from Ratatouille, like Scrooge McDuck. You're helping out Goofy. So it's like a very wide range of characters, which was kind of cool. The story is it's called this Forgotten. It's like all these purple vines are intertwined, covering up the castle, and your goal is to start figuring out where it came from, why they're there, and cleaning up this Disney world. And once you start doing these quests, right, they're fetch quests in a weird way, and they're kind of introducing the game, like, go find this shovel for me. And then once you find the shovel, you gotta dig and plant some seeds. Like, so they're kind of teaching you the mechanics of the game at the beginning. There's a pickaxe, go break this thing. There's a fishing rod, you can go fishing. So all that basic stuff in a simulation type game that you would expect. But again, it's Disney theme. Makes it so much more fun, John, right? And then it starts opening up a little bit more, like you get to choose. I think my daughter had the option she could go see Moana and start doing quests in Moana's world, or somebody else. I don't know. I don't remember who. She went with the Moana, right? So now you have quests through Moana, you see Pua, you see Maui, all these types of familiarity stuff. I mean, it's fine. It's just like any of these games. You're doing quests to unlock more stuff, to add furniture to your house. They do have monthly events. Right now, they're doing a monthly Pixar event, which just means it's certain missions, and certain missions gives you like the little Pixar yellow ball with the stars, and you collect those balls, and then you can unlock. John,
you're good at that.
It's your favorite, John. They have like collection cards, right? And there's like 5 pages of collection cards only during this month. And you have to, collect so many on this card number 1, and then it unlocks card number 2, and so on, right? And you gotta go do certain, monthly event quests to unlock these cards. So there's actually.
Don't you ever criticize me playing Switch Sports ever again?
I didn't play this game. I'm observing this game. I'm the observer. But there are tons and tons of things to do within the menu. They have memories that you have to find, just like Breath of the Wild. Tons of little quests to help certain characters, and you can level up that character to gain more stuff. There's missions. There's collecting different fish, finding different minerals, planting different types of flowers and seeds. So there's really a lot to do. If you're really into these type of simulation games, and if you love Disney, it just makes it more fun because Moana is telling you to go do it, right? So I don't know, John.
It's always more fun when Moana.
I'm going to be blunt. This is not my type of game. Like, I could never play this game for hundreds of hours. Again, if this came out in March of 2020 when COVID happened, maybe I would have. I never thought I'd put 100 hours to Animal Crossing, and I did. At the end of the day, it's not the best graphically. I don't think it hinders lagness, or it's not super laggy, but it's definitely not super smooth either. I would say. But yeah, it's not bad. Like I said, I think the charm of this game is the Disney aspect of it, right? If this was just a game like, let's say, The Sims, right? If this was the same game, but let's say Sims 5, whatever the fuck they're on, I don't know if this game would be as good.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? But the fact that it's Disney, and you can visit Anna and Elsa in Arendelle, and you can visit Remy from Ratatouille, and you see Scrooge, there's just a charm. I mean, people love Disney. I mean, we all love Disney. You just went. I just went. Like, it's fun. It's fun characters. So I think that definitely helps the name of it. But you take that Disney layer away from it,
nobody's playing.
I think this is no one's playing it to a not so great game.
Right. It's like if it's just Pine. nobody's playing it.
Yeah.
I do bag on it, and I just do it all in fun. Like I want the people that play this game to love this game. But like as I've seen this game, it's one of those games to me, and I have not played that. I haven't played it, so don't, I'm not talking from experience. It just looks like an addiction simulator. It's one of those games that feeds into the addictive passion of a gamer. And we've talked about this in a previous episode where game developers do look to tap into what makes people addicted to things. Yeah. And it looks like an addiction simulator where you're just doing quests, getting things, fetching to the point where you're really not having fun playing, but you're having your brain is getting these dopamine hits of I got this thing, and it's over and over and over. And
straight point.
I'm staying away. Animal Crossing admittedly does that. Animal Crossing is a beautiful environment. I think this game looks a little ugly, honestly, but it's still like you play hundreds of hours of Animal Crossing and you're just picking up fruit and bringing them to the store and all that. And in the end, you're not really enjoying that.
No,
you are enjoying that you got money and whatever. We used to do the turnip hustle, and it's like, okay, but you're not really having fun. You're not playing a game. So that's why I have stayed clear from this. And I sort of predict that a lot of people will kind of play it, and you're getting like the huge dopamine hits of the early days, the early days of Animal Crossing. And then after a while, people just move on to like real games.
So my fear too is we all know this is games. They've announced that I don't know if I want to call it microtransactions, but we know there's gonna be something like that. We don't really know what. So right now that does not exist. It's not even an option. If I wanted to go buy $50 worth of gems, it's not an option. I from what I've seen, you can't do that today.
I mean, ask yourself, why are they putting this game out in September that's not coming out till 2023? It's because you're going to buy the game.
Correct.
They don't have to do those mechanics. You're just buying the game.
Correct. So my fear is, let's say my daughter loves this game and let's just say she plays 50 hours between now and Christmas. Like, is she going to, and I do the air quotations, beat the game? And then in 2020, is she going to run out of things to do until this real new version comes out? And then it's going to be like, oh, look, you can go play Toy Story Land. And there's Buzz and there's Woody and Bo Peep. And there's like 5 to 10 hours of quests that you could do in Toy Story Land. But cost $3.99.
Exactly.
And then I'm going to say, well, that's not bad. If I did 10. And, at the end of the day, is it a bad thing if I pay $4 for 10 hours? Maybe not. What's the difference in buying an indie game?
It depends what those 10 hours are, though. It's just fetch questing over and over again to finish your room, like at what point. And like I said, it's up to you. If you decide, hey, for $4, I want this content, you might be totally happy. It's individual to you. I mean, that's all. As long as you are not compulsively buying this stuff because you feel like you have to have a complete collection, that gets dangerous. But I mean, if you enjoy that time, DLC, man, is worth it.
Or if they do it where you only can get these things by pretty much buying it or playing 100 hours.
That's absolutely going to happen. And I think the reason they put it out early is because they are making you buy the game, so, and I think a lot of people aren't going to wait till 2023 to play it. They're kind of being forced to buy into the game that's supposed to be free to play.
But you know what? It's like, it's like Fall Guys, right? When Fall Guys came out with their weekend for Sonic stuff, like it was physically impossible to unlock all the Sonic guys, right? At least from my point of view. Maybe if you had like gems or whatever they call them saved up, but there wasn't a way to unlock those characters in 3 days. It just physically wasn't possible. You had to buy some of them. Right. So that's the shit I don't like. If they're just saying for $3.99, you get all of the Toy Story Lands and all the quests. And then at your pace, you can unlock it or choose what items you want to buy from the quests you've done. Right. That's fine. But if they say, listen, if you want this nice new shiny Toy Story costume, it's 1,000 gems, and 1,000 gems is ridiculous to get, that's when I start getting problems.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
We'll see. See how they do it. But that's all. That's Disney Dreamlight Valley.
Woo! I got a few others I want to go through real quick, all for the Switch now. Infernax. This is a game that I heard really good things about. It's a mix between Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest, and Zelda 2.
I love Simon's Quest.
The best way to describe it. And I grabbed it when it was on a big sale. and I hadn't played it for months, and I decided I'm finally going to get to it. I got to tell you, I freaking love this game. This game checked all the boxes for me. Every one of them. There was a quest system with like a little journal of all the quests you need to do. There was a main quest that you followed. It is it's more of a Metroidvania than an open world, but it doesn't feel like a full Metroidvania. It's a smaller world. It's not a huge world. And your map shows you every location. There's no secret things or anything.
Okay.
And basically you follow this character who has to find these 5 gems to unlock the door to ultimately who's going to be the final boss. And but yeah, like there's a few villages that are in this world. You'll get some side quests. They'll give you they'll give you gold, or stuff like that. So they're not really necessary, but you buy your upgrades. You fight bosses, you get certain things. It's fantastic. And one of my favorite things about it is as you play through the game, you get more powerful. So you start off where if you die, you have to continue. And they offer you 2 chances to continue, 2 ways to continue. There's classic continue, where they bring you back to your last point you saved, and you just start from there with the state you were in at that time. Or there is this casual continue where they'll take away some of your gems, some of your gold or whatever, and then you kind of continue from where you were. It definitely more of like an easy mode. I played this game with just the classic, super proud, because there were times when I was tempted. They would make you go through these long stretches of a dungeon, and it was tough.
Now, you said is this a newer game? I'm sorry.
Infernax is new. It came out this year.
Okay.
But when you start the game, if you die, you have to continue. But you can actually earn lives. And so by the end of it, I think I had 4 lives. So if I died, they just put you at the beginning of the screen you died on, and you continue from there. So it was easier, and my weapon was stronger, but the enemies didn't really get much stronger. So as the game went on, I was more powerful, and I love that. I talked about that recently. I love that. I felt powerful. I didn't feel like I was getting stronger, but then the enemies were getting stronger. But I loved it. I loved trying to complete my map. Some of the quests were a little moon logic-y. I had some trouble like figuring out. There was when I finished the game originally, I had 4 side quests I couldn't finish. And I spent some time trying to figure it out. I got 1 done, but then the other 3, I still had no idea where to go or what to do. And I looked them up, and all 3 of them were like, there's no way I would have figured that out. But great. And it has some replayability too. You can unlock characters and play as different characters. A little weird how you do it. It's like you just enter your name in a certain way. So it's not like you unlock them by playing. You sort of unlock them by having a guide tell you how to unlock them. So you can play the game with all the different characters. And when I finished, I had a very low completion percentage, even though I did all the quests in the game. So I think if you play at higher difficulty levels, there's different quests and things to do. So lots of replayability. And it's a short game. It's only about 5 to 7 hours.
Oh, nice.
I think.
Did you play on the Switch, you said, or did you play
I played on the Switch. It plays great on the Switch. It's short. You can play it multiple times. Absolutely loved it. I can't recommend it enough. It's going to be one of my top favorite games of the year. I also played Fairune Collection. Fairune?
This looks interesting as well.
This was a game that Michelle bought on her 3DS so many years ago, and I saw her playing, and I was like, that looks interesting. It's a very simplistic Zelda-style RPG. And I saw her playing Fairune. So the Fairune Collection I picked it up for like a couple bucks a few years ago, and I never got to it. And I was looking through, and I was like, I've never played this one. Let me play it. So I played Fairune, which is the original. First of all, the game took me about 3.5 hours. And you can finish it quicker if you know what to do. I got lost several times. And it's like a Zelda game, a classic Zelda game, except they make the battling very, like, you don't actually swing the sword. You just run into the enemy, and based on your level, you might lose some health, but they'll die. There's a bunch of, like, I think you have to get these, like, 4 red gems, and then these 4 green gems, and then you have to ultimately find these 3 fairy statues. And then there's some other story. I won't talk about it, but it is... I got to say, I loved it. It's so, when you first start playing it, you're like, God, this is really simplistic. But then you realize, like, the puzzles are challenging. The game looks interesting.
That's nice. Yeah,
Yeah, it really is.
it looks
And
fun.
it's not a long game.
So I gotta ask. I'm looking at it. It
Mhm.
looks like the screen's kind of broken down. Is this when you go in a
Yes.
dungeon or something? Like there's like a left, like 50% of the screen shows like the world, and you move in. There's like a map screen and like an inventory all on one panel.
Exactly. So I think this game originated on the 3DS. I don't know the full history of it,
Okay.
but it was a portable game. And so in the Switch version, they have the gameplay on the left, and then they put the map. I think when you play the original game, the map might have been on the bottom screen.
Mhm.
So they
Oh,
did
yep.
shift around the UI around what the game originally was to get it on the Switch.
So it's never full screen, the gameplay?
No, it's not.
Okay.
I totally barely noticed it. It was actually quite nice to be able to look at the map
It is.
on the screen and then move around. So I was able to follow it.
definitely
Totally. Yeah.
interesting.
You see your items and all that stuff. It's like I said, it seems simplistic at first, but it's just nice. It's very straightforward. The only thing that takes a weird adjustment is fighting the enemies and figuring out how to level up.
Mhm.
It's weird. Like this book will tell you which enemies you should be fighting now. And so you seek them out and you fight them, you fight them, you fight them, you lose health as you fight them, but you're gaining experience. And then you level up, and then you fight those enemies and you don't lose health anymore. So then you have to look for the next more difficult enemy. But it's great. The puzzles were great. The dungeons were cool. There was definitely a few places, again, moon logic, just weird things I never would have thought of. But like when I got stuck, I didn't feel like I had to look it up right away. I would just keep exploring and finding new things, finding items, that sort of thing. So I really loved it.
Nice.
And I'm going to play number 2. So, I mean, I bought the collection, and I think there's 3 games in the collection. So, yeah, I'm going to play the second one at some point. So I'm happy I finally got to playing it. And then the last thing, I don't want to talk about too much because I think we're going to talk about it next week, but Splatoon 3 came out. And I have to say, there's nothing much to say about this game. It is Splatoon 2, but every aspect of the game is better. It looks better. The paint is glossy and gooey. It just looks better. The lockers are really cool. You can kind of like, you earn items in the campaign mode. And by the way, the campaign mode is closer to Octo Expansion than it is the original campaign. It's just really fun the way they set it up. Some of the levels are goofy and simple and quick, whereas the original campaign is, every level is just to teach you something over and over again. So it's got a really nice setup for the single player campaign. And you're in this world and you can find these like secret items. And then when you get them, you can put them in your locker. So that's really fun. So the campaign is great. Turf War is really fun. The way they kind of float you above the level and you shoot down to where you want to go. I don't know how much of a difference it really makes. If they could have just made it random, really. But the way they highlight your character and your personality is so much fun. So when you start the game and you're all posing on your boxes and you just feel like awesome, you've got your custom pose and you got your custom name tag, is neat. And then when you win the game, it used to be that if you lost, you just saw your team and you lost. Now, when the game ends, you only see the winning team, and they come in one at a time with the most skilled coming first. And they just come in and you got your pose and you got your name and you just feel like great. You're just like, yeah, like fuck all y'all. I kicked your ass. It's so much fun. Salmon Run, the new bosses in Salmon Run are really good. It largely feels the same, but throwing the eggs into the basket is such a cool element. And I'm still waiting for a moment where you win because you just threw an egg in the basket from way downtown with a second to go.
Yeah.
But just like everything is, and the way they set up multiplayer. So you go into the lobby and everybody who's playing, and there's a lot of my friends that are playing right now because it's new, and you see all their names and they're in, and you go up to them and it tells you how recently they've been playing. Sometimes it shows you people who played 6 hours ago. I don't know why. And it says, oh, they're accepting drop-ins or they are waiting for a team, and then you can join them. It's so much easier and open to do that sort of thing. So I'll play, like maybe I'm playing with a random team and I look around and I go, oh, my friend's online. I'll go over there. And then I joined Mole's game a couple of times. He joined me. And it's just so nice. You just play and you can take a look. Whereas in the old game, you had to quit out of your game and then look and see if any of your friends were online. It's just really nice. And then once you join a game, It just, if it's waiting for more players, it says so, but you can just walk out of the booth and you can start, shooting the dummies, climbing walls, whatever.
Yeah. I'm excited to play. I'll be honest, it's sitting in my wrapper still.
Gotta bust it out. But yeah, I hope to talk a lot about it next episode when you play it. But
I will be.
Everything is better. It's
good.
It's worth it. I'm super happy with it. It didn't have, the big island and everything we wanted, but it's everything. It's just everything. So.
And now, one last thing.
It's time for TV Dads. Drew, we like to do TV Dads. We like to talk about shows.
I know.
We just do. Personally with each other.
Yep.
What have you been watching? Like, I know we've both been watching House of the Dragon. What are you thinking about House of the Dragon?
It's okay. I think it's nice. It feels very familiar, but I'm going to say it again. It feels very familiar. Let's leave it at that, right? Because a lot of it's like the same. I mean, if you read all the books and you were all into the shows, like it's cool to see it. I'm going to be honest. The main Targaryen chick, the young girl, I'm not feeling her as like an actress. I think there's something about her.
How old is she?
Like, she's got to be like 14 or something. I don't know. I mean, not my guess, but I can't pinpoint it. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
I think you risk when you have a younger actor as a star. I mean, it's hard to find a young person like, when you're talking about Daenerys. I mean, she's just an older actor, and you're putting a lot of trust in a young actor. That's all I'll say.
I mean, which one? Oh, is that her? Emma? How old is she?
No, I think it was Eve, right? Eve Best. Am I wrong? Maybe I'm wrong.
Which one? How old is she?
She is 1971. No, that can't be her. That's not her.
I don't know. Is that her? Emma? Yeah. I think she's 30.
That doesn't look like her. No, it's Millie Alcock. Yeah, it looks just like her. One below. Millie Alcock. So she is, oh wow, she's 22 years old.
She doesn't look it.
Yeah. I agree. So here's the thing. It's so diplomatic. Game of Thrones had so many great characters, and it was very debaucheristic, and there was a lot of, violence and whatever, but it made the stories come alive because there were actions happening. This one is very diplomatic. It's obviously about this girl who's basically the next heir, and she's going to be a queen instead of a king, which is funny because the queen just died after 70 years. But like, it just feels diplomatic and like, oh, they don't like you. And then, his brother is like, I want to be king and all that. And it reminds me
of him, though. I like him. I think he's a good actor.
Yeah, he's pretty dark. We haven't seen him too much since the first episode.
No.
But it feels like the worst parts of the Star Wars movies where it's just so much about governance and politics. And it's like, but when you think of the Star Wars movies, you think of the action sequences. And this needs more. And I will be honest.
It's coming, right?
Maybe, but after the third episode, I'm out.
Spoiler alert. Well,
I'm out.
let me tell you a spoiler alert that I heard, and I think it's true. I heard mid-season there's like a flash forward, and they recast a few people, like they're older.
Really? Oh, I see.
So I don't know how forward. Like maybe this Millie girl is now the queen. I don't know. I don't know. It's not a spoiler. I don't know. But
that might explain some of what we just saw. Right?
I did hear that like there's a time jump halfway through the season, and some of the actors are, well, I guess a lot of the younger actors, right? So obviously the king is marrying the young Hightower chick. I'm sure they might be recasted into older actors.
Yeah, you're right. Because in IMDb it says young lady. It says young princess Rhaenyra and young lady Alicent. And then, because the other actress that plays Rhaenyra is 40. I think it's like is older than me.
It could be like a 20-year. I'm assuming. I mean, again, this isn't a spoiler because we don't know this, but I'm assuming that like the king probably is going to die somehow, right?
Yeah,
and so,
as they do.
Drama is going to happen. right? So a lot of these
Interesting.
younger actresses, like you said, that we have problems with, might
Right.
now be better actresses. So I don't know. Maybe I don't give it a chance. I mean, I'm not
I
going to
love
give
a
up
good
on
time
it.
jump.
I
That
know.
does make me. I mean, yeah, we had a hard time watching episode 3, and yeah, I don't know, but I got to tell Michelle about that. Maybe we'll just stick
I
for
mean,
that.
you can't say the scene when like he goes in and kills the leader, like the uncle goes in and kills the leader and stuff.
I kind of fell asleep during some of that.
That was a cool battle scene. But anyways,
Yeah.
the show's fine. It's fine. I mean, they're obviously setting up a lot of plot and story and setting the
Right.
stage.
Yeah,
fine.
I just know that
it's
so
great.
hard to live up to a Game of Thrones.
Agreed.
You've been watching Severance. That's a show I really want to watch.
So Severance, I feel like, is a show that has your name. It just seems like a John show. So Severance, if you don't know, it's with Adam Scott from Parks and Rec, right? That's what he's from. Yeah. He's a good actor. It's really interesting story. So this is a Ben Stiller. Was it? I think Ben Stiller, right? Ben Stiller wrote this, produced it, directed it. Someone please confirm that before I. But
I will. Work on that
Ben Stiller. It's Ben Stiller. Yep. It's his baby, and the premise of this is that Adam Scott's the main character. There's this huge corporation, and these guys work for them. And when you go to work, you take this elevator, like up to your floor, and in the process of taking the elevator up to the up, it like, I don't want to say erases your memory, it lots your memory. So you have two personalities essentially. You have a work life and an outside of work life. And when you're at work, you don't know anything about your life. You don't know if you're married. You don't know if you have kids. You don't know what your hobbies are. You don't know anything.
Right.
And when you go back home, you don't know what you do for work. You know, you worked at that place, and you don't even know what your job is.
Interesting.
So it's a really interesting concept. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's parts of this show that are a little like boring and dragged out, but it's one of those, like, at the last 2 episodes, like, shit starts happening fast, right? And it really kind of starts to draw you in a little bit, but it's just like the mystery, and they still don't. The whole point of the show is just like a mystery still. Even watching the show, like, what are you physically doing at work? Like, they don't even know what they're doing. Like, they're told you're doing this computer programming type stuff. It's like, but what are you doing? You're just taught on how to do something,
right?
And it's very like strict rules. I think it's only one season, 8-10 episodes, 12 around there, and it's different. It's different. And like,
where is it streaming?
This is on Apple. I think Apple TV.
Oh, Apple TV. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
The funny thing is, I confused this with Succession, which was the show that I wanted to see because Kieran Culkin is in it. I love Kieran Culkin.
Okay.
But you just described this, and I'm like, oh, I'm interested in this too.
This is definitely you and the wife show.
I think I have heard of this one because it's on Apple TV, but I think in my head I might have gotten these confused. So I'm just going to watch them both.
Yeah, no, it's not a bad one to watch.
Okay, I was watching on Netflix, Man vs. Bee.
What is this?
I did not know about this, except for the funniest human being that has ever graced this planet, Rowan Atkinson. Was talking about all the shows he did, and he was talking about Man vs. Bee, and I was like, what? And it is just a Netflix show. It's about 9 episodes, and each episode's like 10 minutes long.
Oh, I like that.
And it's about Rowan Atkinson. He's a house sitter, and he's house sitting for these poshy people. And there's a bee, and he's trying to get rid of the bee. And I will just leave it at that. It's a brand new show. I'm not going to spoil anything. But it is. But
is every episode a new house that he goes to?
No, every episode is a direct continuation of the previous episode.
But it could have just been one long episode, but they just decided to cut it up in 10 minutes.
Could have been a movie. Yep.
Okay.
And it's hilarious. If you love Mr. Bean, you'll love this. But he talks and all of that, Jeff. He's Rowan Atkinson. Yeah. But it's great, and it's probably an hour and a half at most, and it actually has a great ending. Yeah, really enjoyed it. I don't think there's going to be a season 2 or anything like that.
Yeah.
Just a delightful one season. Wonderful.
Huh.
Yeah, absolutely loved it.
It's interesting.
Absolutely did.
I'll mention one more thing, and I really, really don't want to go down a rabbit hole here, but I know that there's a lot of fans out there for this stuff. So we've been watching some of the Marvel shows, right? We watched Moon Knight. We ended up watching Miss Marvel. We're currently watching She-Hulk. So the first thing I'll say is my opinions are. I find with these Marvel shows, and I hate to say it, Star Wars is starting to go down this road as well. But the Marvel shows, in particular, I find that I really get into like these, and this is with all the Marvel movies too. I like the first movies, right? I like to know the backstory of Spider-Man and how he became Spider-Man and Miss Marvel and why she became Miss Marvel. And the shows do this really well. Like the first 2 episodes of the series are really fun. And then it gets into like these weird, like, well, who are the bad guys, right? So the first episodes, there's no bad guys. It's just, why are they a superhero? What happened? And then they introduce like the storyline of the bad guys, and I'm like, this is stupid, like this, and I lose interest. I mean, I watched all of Miss Marvel, but it's just like, to me, and I was talking to my Disney guys and the Disney podcast buddies, and the question came up like, is Disney getting too big for its own good? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, is it just, they're just pumping out shovelware, right? I mean, is that what you want to call it?
There's so many shows.
It's just, and I get, all these stuff had comic books and stuff like that, but is it just too much? They try to build this phase 6 or 5, whatever the hell they're on for Marvel.
I hate the phases.
And Star Wars, like, don't get me wrong, Mandalorian was great. I mean, I even liked Obi-Wan was fun, but like, do we need those stories? Yeah.
Remember when Mandalorian was like the only thing? And it was like, oh, this is great. And it's like, there's so many shows. I can't even keep track of them.
It's hard. Yeah, Andor coming out soon.
I couldn't even keep, I thought that was already out. Like, it's so much.
And I love Road One from Star Wars. So this is going to be good, right up my alley. But like, do we need it? Do we like?
We don't need any of it. I wish it was slower. I wish there was just a Star Wars show. I know it's old fashioned, but I wish there was a Star Wars show that came every season. It's just they constantly overlap each other, and now we're getting these fringy characters, and it's just so much. Marvel has been a fire hose for a long time. And it's tough. Yeah. Like I've been tempted to watch Ms. Marvel because I kind of enjoyed that. I never really knew that character very well. Yeah. And when they did that, what was that video game? Marvel's what was the name? No. But they I can't remember it. But they did a show. I think it's just Marvel's Avengers, the game Marvel's Avengers, and it didn't do very well.
Okay.
Didn't do very well. But I played it when it was on Game Pass, and I really enjoyed learning about Ms. Marvel and her whole backstory and her dad and all that. So I'm interested in seeing this show. But then I'm like, but it's one show and there's going to be all these references I'm not going to know from the movies and the next shows and all that. And it's exhausting.
I will say it's only 6 episodes, I think. Which was nice. But like I said,
I'll give it a try really while I work this week.
I tell you, you're going to love like the first 2 episodes and then you're going to start to see where it goes and you're just going to be like,
I'll watch the whole season if I like it. But I won't watch it with Michelle. I'll just watch it on my own and see if I like it.
Yep. And same thing with She-Hulk. I've only watched 3. I think there's only 3 episodes out. Like the first episode, like it's not a spoiler. Like, the Hulk is in it, and it shows how the She-Hulk became She-Hulk. And it's like, this is kind of fun. Like, and then as soon as they start bringing like the Abomination and like, just like, I don't know. Like I'm already lost interest.
Not ready. Isn't it a bit of a sillier show? Isn't it like more of a comedy?
Yeah, it is.
Or just Marvel funny.
Yeah, and Marvel funny. I wouldn't say,
Okay, all right. Yeah, to me it looked like a little silly. I mean, like it's like She-Hulk and she's like a lawyer or something like that.
Yeah, and like people know that it's her. Like she's not hiding it.
Okay, all right. Yeah, she's very openly right. Yeah, she's green.
Yeah,
Yep. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna try.
I won't spoil it,
Miss Marvel. I did want to see Moon Knight too, but like I said, I just don't want to get so much into all these Marvel shows, so I don't.
I know.
I've been watching some weird stuff on Netflix, and we saw Untold, which there's a series called Untold on Netflix, and this one is the girlfriend who didn't exist. And I don't know if you remember this, but I sort of lived through this. Was Manti Te'o famously 10 years ago was dedicating his senior year at Notre Dame. He's a football player.
Oh, yes. I remember this.
To his girlfriend who died, because the story was his grandmother died in the morning, and then he found out his girlfriend died on the same day. So it was like everyone rallied around him, and it was like this whole thing. And then it turned out, in what was one of the most sensational stories of my lifetime, that the girlfriend didn't exist. He had been catfished. And a lot of the controversy was, he was a senior. He was going to go get drafted in the NFL. Was he behind? Was this a hoax that he was behind to sort of rally support, to try to win a Heisman and try to get a higher draft status or whatever? And this is just like a story. It's him and the woman who, she's transgender. So it was a man before, obviously going through these sort of transitions, and like they're both being interviewed. And wow, like we know now he was fooled. And I feel bad for the guy, because I remember when he was drafted, I was like, oh my God, this guy, Manti Te'o. I remember he was on the Chargers, which is in the Broncos division. And, you look through it, man. He's just a pure out and out victim. And man, like I can see why. This dude sounded like a girl on the phone. There was phone calls. It was very elaborate.
Yeah.
And he had stolen the identity of the girl. That's someone he knew. So like he had asked a friend, do you know about this girl? And he's like, oh yeah. But he didn't realize this was not the real girl. It was a stolen identity issue. So you really feel for the guy, because first of all, it's humiliating. Secondly, it's all he's known for. When you hear Manti Te'o, and I guess he played up until like last year. That's the first thing you think of is, oh, that's the guy that got catfished or whatever. So you really feel for the guy. But he's a good dude, and it's a really interesting story to watch. It's a 2-part documentary. Yeah, it's really good. And then we just watch Hoarders for a lack of anything to watch.
God.
It's this Hoarders is the same shit every episode. And that's it. I don't know what to say about it. If you've never seen Hoarders, though, these people have obvious mental disease and whatever, and they just collect shit mostly from like thrift stores or or dumpster diving or whatever. But every one of the episodes is really just the same. They don't want to throw anything away, and then maybe they will throw something away. But we just sort of watch it. But funny story, last night we were watching Hoarders, and I got an email from GameStop that I had a delivery. I went downstairs, and it was my 3 Monster Hunter amiibo that I just pinned to my wall, and they'll just sit there and not be used and sit in a box.
Ever.
And I got that while I was watching Hoarders, and it made me feel disgusting inside. I was like, oh my God. Like, what am I doing?
Michelle say, what are you doing?
I mentioned it to her, and it's like, my room is immaculately clean, so I'm not a hoarder. Like, there's no bugs or anything. But collection wise, I really need to think about thinning out my collection. This is just too much. So, but you know what? I think we're going to start Severance. I'm going to see if Michelle wants to watch Severance tonight.
Yeah. Give it a go tonight. Let me know what you think.
Okay. So, well, that was fun.
Well, John, what do we have coming up in the next few weeks?
Oh, well, you got a nap coming up. You got a long sleep ahead of you. But there's a lot of games coming out. This is a very interesting 2 weeks. First of all, we're getting DLC from Nobody Saves the World, the Frozen Hearth expansion. That comes out September 13th.
Didn't ask for.
I know. Are you going to dip back in? Because I don't think I will.
I don't. Not right now. No.
Yeah.
I hate dipping back into games that I've already put away. Like, I hate that more than anything.
Yeah, I kind of love it, but I love Nobody Saves the World, and like as the game got further in, I think I got less interested in it. But it was a very good game.
It was fun.
Wayward Strand, which is a game I've been waiting for quite a while. I got a delay. That's coming out September 15th. That's the one from the indie world where you're on a ship and you play through a timeline, and then you play through it again and you try to change the circunstances. So I'm pretty excited for that one.
Looks terrible.
Bear and Breakfast. You're a bear that runs a bed and breakfast. It's a game made for my wife. I'll tell you that. That's September 15th as well. Return to Monkey Island, September 19th. James, this one's for you. That one I know a lot of people, especially older gamers like myself, are interested in.
My wife will be playing it. So I'll give you some reviews.
She's into that.
She'll be playing. Yep.
the Diofield Chronicle, which is sort of like kind of like a tactics strategy type game. That one looks interesting. That comes out September 22nd, and there is a demo for it. Very interesting looking game, very nice looking game.
Kind of looks like Xenoblade-ish art style.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to try to grab the demo and see before. And then the game I'm most excited for, Shovel Knight Dig, finally comes out September 23rd. That is the next game I am buying, by the way. I'm not buying any games until
I'll
Shovel
tell you
Knight
what.
Dig.
I want to try to play this, but this should be a little Apple Arcade. Yeah, but if it's like a platformer, I don't know if I could play platformers on a phone.
No, this will be better on the Switch. But you are right. I should mention that it is coming on Apple Arcade,
which would be free.
For free.
But
yeah, there's a lot of games, a lot of indie games. Like that's what I love about this list is a lot of indie games and smaller games. So
look, you could get the Apple One and get to play Shovel Knight and watch Severance. Look at that.
Apple One is a good deal. Yeah, you get storage.
It's one of the best deals.
Storage, Apple TV, Apple Music.
Yep.
I mean, for the
Apple
price
Arcade,
that we were paying
Apple
for
TV, all that.
Yeah, for the price we were paying for Spotify, we basically get Apple TV, Apple Music.
$20 a month?
I think it's 20. I think the family plan is 20.
That's what I have. The family, I think 20.
Yeah, and so it gives everybody the extra storage, which is nice, and everyone their own Apple Music account, so they can have their own playlists and stuff.
And then Apple TV alone is like a $7 or $8 thing.
Yeah, and there's a lot. I mean, like I don't think of Apple TV as a great value, but there's actually really good shows on Apple TV, like really good shows.
Yep.
Right?
Isn't that what is Ted Lasso's on?
Ted Lasso's on there. Mythic Quest, which I cannot recommend enough. Mythic Quest is amazing. You mentioned Severance. A lot of the initial shows they advertised when it came out, I had no interest in, but like it seems like all the shows that are coming after it are very interesting.
Yeah.
So there's what else do they have? I mean, but like there are some really good shows. They don't have a ton of content like Netflix yet, but they have what they do have. A lot of them are really good.
Yeah.
What is it? Severance. They have the show with Jason Momoa. That was the one I'm not interested in. And I'm trying to see. There's more. I know there's more. Central Park. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's not as many as I
is Cobra Kai on Apple TV?
Isn't that on YouTube?
That's Netflix.
Yeah. Oh, I think there's a show with Maya Rudolph coming. Oh, right. Yeah, Maya Rudolph has a show. I love Maya Rudolph. And Cecily from SNL. She's on a show. I forget that. I'll never remember the name of it. But that show is actually really freaking funny. So, Cecily Strong, you're not an SNL person.
I know them. Yeah, I have. I mean, my wife watches it, so I catch a lot of SNL.
Okay, yeah, and so the show is called Schmigadoon, and it's a show where her and the guy from Key and Peele,
okay,
can't remember his name at the moment, gets sucked into a musical world, like a theater world. And everyone's singing and all that jazz. It is hilarious, but it's a really good story. I don't know if there'll be a season 2 or not, but it's really good. And I love Cecily Strong. Adore Cecily Strong. So, we just pitched Apple One. Good job.
That's it.
We did it. Very short show, like you wanted, Drew.
I'm so tired. I gotta wake up soon.
You got to wake up in 2 hours.
Probably.
All right, man. But I'm glad you came.
Yeah.
Good time.
Me too.
There's no rain chats.
Alrighty. That's it. No rain chats.
All right, man. Catch you later. Good night, everybody.
Alrighty. Good night.
Bye.
The Dads After Dark show is part of the Nintendo Dads family of podcasts. You can subscribe to us anywhere podcasts are available, including iTunes, Castbox, Spotify, and Stitcher. Also, don't forget to leave us a 5-star review. Pretty please. Be sure to join us on the Nintendo Dads Discord in our Dads After Dark channels for some naughty After Dark talk. Follow us on Twitter at @NDadsAfterDark or email us at dadsafterdarkshow@gmail.com. And a big thank you to Family Jewels for our show's music. You rock. That's all for tonight. Good night, Dads. Sweet dreams.